one entry in this state meet in the first round just a couple of days ago. He received at a breakfast of the wrestling coaches of Iowa from them a plaque that was given to him for his great courage, his great dedication. Gary Mask walked up, received that award this morning in this building. I'm sorry to report this afternoon he passed away. If you join me in a moment of silence for a great wrestling comrade, Gary Mask, we'd appreciate it. Please stand. Thank you very much. On with the wrestling.
Our congratulations to all the award winners here this evening. We'll be back with our first weight class in just a minute.
America's going public, switching to the best shows anywhere during festival nights on public TV. You'll go for outstanding performances with Gala of Stars, or go exploring with National Geographic. Go for great memories with America's all-time pop music favorites. And you'll go crazy with the Marx Brothers.
Come on, I'll play you one more game.
Go for exciting drama on Masterpiece Theater.
Our task is to destroy the enemy completely.
Go out on the town with Auntie Mame.
Life is a banquet, and most poor suckers are starving to death. Now, come on, Agnes, live. Come, child.
You'll go for Tony Bennett and Count Basie.
It's awfully different without you.
And go down home for the best in country music. America's going public. See why. Go public during festival nights on public television.
Watch during Friends Week 82, coming soon on the Public Network. During the state wrestling tournament, this is the Public Network. From Veterans Auditorium in Des Moines, the 1982 Boys State High School Wrestling Championships continue.
There's the way you get points for this tournament. And tonight, we're only interested in first place and second place. The winner gets 4 points for his team. Except, you see down at the bottom there, you can get an extra 2 by a fall. And maybe in that tough 2A competition between Emmetsburg and Eagle Grove, that could decide the championship. Even a superior decision there is worth a point, or a major decision. That means 8 points or more, between 8 points and 11. One man beats the other. And those could make all the difference in the world, too. Yes. Now we're ready to go. Randy, we got the 1As coming up first at 98 through 119. Then we'll have the 2As through 145, the triple A's through heavyweight, and we'll get to super heavyweight, and we'll flip a coin. 98 pounds. The first of the Lisbon champion team, Dean Happel. He's in the red there with a 27-1 record against Mike Heeman of Riceville, 23-2. And already, you can see Heeman in on a 2-point takedown.
Watch your leg. Yeah, Heeman got in there, switched from sort of a single leg drop into a sort of a Kelly position, turned it into 2 points. Happel giving it up before he got in trouble going to his back.
Happel is up now, fighting off the hands, and he gets out for a 2-to-1 move. It's now 2-to-1 in favor of Heeman over Happel. Remember, in high school, it's 2 minutes each period. Mike Heeman on the left, and up in the corner, you see the double-A match, which we'll be keeping our eye on, too. Jeff Schmitz with Gilbertville Don Bosco against Mark Schwab of Osage. And that's the 2A. And at AAA, we'll have Mickey Bates of Davenport West against Dale Fellon of Mason City. We'll keep our eye on those, and we'll certainly give you a report, even if we can't get over to see them. Now back to 1A. Dean Happel of Lisbon trailing 2-to-1 on his feet against Mike Heeman of Riceville. Referee is Dick Gray of St. Charles. This Lisbon team really put on a show here again this year, Randy.
Well, they came in with some amazing balance. They've had 3 wrestlers that have been ranked #1 all year long and have all made it to the finals, and there's an example of just how they got there.
No points, though, for either man. Those are real trouble situations. You know that whoever comes out on top has the other man in real trouble. It's 2-1, 17 seconds are left in the first period. That's Dean Happel of Lisbon. Trying to lock up, go for a fireman's carry. Can he pull it off here? He's driving hard.
He's in deep enough. Riceville boy is sprawling out over the top and making it difficult. I think it's going to be a matter of how much time's left in the period here.
That's the end of it, no score. So at the end of the first period, it's 2 for Heeman, and there is Brad Smith, the Lisbon coach, with a flower. Boy, that's the championship flower, you know. Dean Happel of Lisbon goes up to start the second period against Heeman of Riceville.
Happel's using a tight waist ride now and controlling the near side, and he's working right now to get a hold of a wrist if he can. Mike Heeman, working underneath, is having trouble keeping his base against Happel, but he'll be working for stand-ups here as soon as he can get his base back.
In this position, Happel's the one who has to score the points. He's down by 1. He really piled them up in his 3 wins to get here. 14-2, 19-2, and 20-0 were the scores of his matches in this tournament. So he scores points.
Well, before the tournament, I talked to Coach Brad Smith, and he told me that if his kids wrestled up to par, they should walk right into the finals. And they definitely have. You can't ask much more from a kid than to score an average of 15 points a match.
Mike Heeman, on the other hand, had a 7-0 decision in the quarterfinals and then 2 pins. So it's been a fairly easy road for both of these youngsters to get to the championship match. We have 1:05 left. In the second period, Happel trails 2-1, but has ridden all the way through this period. He needs back points.
He's getting a little high right there. Doesn't seem to be too concerned about it. He must be a cradler from there, trying to work up over the top. Feels pretty confident riding in there, even if he does give up control of that leg.
Trying to work a crossface in there to keep that position, and ends up still on top, in behind with 39, 38, 37 seconds to go. Now he's got a bar he'd like to make something with.
He's almost got it started. If he gets the wrist through there, he's going to have a pretty good tight bar.
Warning on the bottom. This is 98 pounds. We just started. You just tuned in to find out what's happening in a wrestling tournament. You haven't missed much. Here's a possibility for back.
He's got a little stack, got him tilted up there with control.
Referee, I don't believe, considered it a near fall situation. So it's still 2-1. Even.
A little hard to see from this angle whether that was a tilt or not.
There's Dave Ripley, the coach at Riceville. No, there is a referee and an assistant referee out there, and neither one of them saw it as a near fall. Now, Heeman on top. Happel needs a point. He's on the bottom. Starting the third period. It was a full ride for Happel, but of course riding time doesn't count in high school. Here comes Happel around.
A switch maneuver brought him around behind. He hasn't quite controlled yet, but there it goes. There's the points. He'd be working right now for a front cradle. He's got the hands locked, but Heeman is basing out on him. He's making it tough for him to turn.
This is Dean Happel, who is only a sophomore, a 16-year-old sophomore, and Mike Heeman is also a 16-year-old sophomore from Riceville. And Happel, who rode very well, can now afford to ride because he's 1 point ahead.
Well, under the existing rules, though, you can't just ride and hang on, or the referees here are not afraid to call him for stalling. So he's got a front cradle hooked up right here, and it looks like he may score with it. He's real close right now.
Keeping our eye on the referee to see if he thinks it's a near fall situation. No indication of it yet.
In a situation like that where the wrestler's shoulders have to break the plane of 45 degrees, the scapula, the back of his shoulder blades, for it to be constituted as a pinning combination for a pin hold for points.
We have a half a minute left here. It's Happel of Lisbon leading 3-2. By the way, our word from the AA match is that Schwab is beating Schmitz. Osage's boy is beating Gilbertville Schmitz. It was 6-1 the last we saw. Now it's 9-2. And here it's Happel trying to protect a 1-point lead with 10 seconds left. Six seconds out of bounds. He's very tough on top. Heeman's had trouble getting out, and it's made the difference here so far.
Heeman had, earlier through this tournament, has spent most of the time with his opponents flat on their back. And maybe he wasn't ready for a good rider on top.
That happens a lot, you know. And these boys are only sophomores. It's actually true that you very seldom see the seniors here at 98 pounds. This is often where they start out, and they start moving up when they grow. Quick move on the whistle. Heeman needs a point. But he didn't get it. And the winner here at 1A in our opening match of the night of the Iowa High School Wrestling Championships is Dean Happel of Lisbon. The score is 3-2 over Mike Heeman of Riceville. And that one really turned out well for Brad Smith's champion Lisbon team. There's the score, 3-2 in our opening.
With Lisbon already, with the team title all in hand, this is just icing on the cake for them. As many as they can win tonight.
And the match at AA has just finished up. Now you're looking at the AA and the AAA matches. The winner in AA is Mark Schwab, 13-4. And there is a timeout for injury over on the AAA match. Now you're seeing the handshake. Arlo Flaggy putting Mark Schwab's hand in the air. We'll be hearing more about that in just a moment from Dean Borg, a little while. And at AAA, we have 34 seconds to go. Davenport West's Mickey Bates against Mason City's Dale Fellon. And we'll look up the score here for you.
Bates has been rated #1 all during the year through the papers, and
he leads 4-3, but here is Fellon trying to get a takedown to win. At 98 pounds with only 8 seconds, and he got it, I think. No, not quite. No. He managed to hold it off. How about that?
He's jumping right now as if he did get a signal, right?
He did. Yes, he did get the win.
I was going to say 2 points, but I don't want to...
It looked like it, but I saw the referee with his hands out.
I see.
And what a disappointment for undefeated Mickey Bates. Undefeated right up to this point, anyway. And there is Dale Fellon, whose coach, Jerry Ray, at Mason City, just won the Coach of the Year award. And young Mr. Fellon is on the shoulders of his coaches there.
Well, Fellon came up the tougher side of the bracket all through this tournament. Came out on top of 3 other ranked wrestlers, as he was ranked 6th. He came out on top of some other ranked wrestlers to get to the finals, so this may have been his tournament.
How about that? That's 98 pounds. And let's hear about that AA match from Dean Borg.
Doug, Mark Schwab added the championship to the family again this year. His brother last year was champion right on the same mat at 98 pounds, and now Mark Schwab came back to make it 2 in a row for that family. Mark's from Osage. He was 23-1 going into this. He had 2 points in the first period, 4 in the second, and added 7 in the third, and won 13-4, as you saw just in the final seconds. Doug Trotter, what happened on the AAA mat?
Okay, well, you saw a good part of it on the tube there just a little bit ago, where a young sophomore came out like gangbusters in the first period, only to fall behind. That was Mickey Bates of Davenport West, came back and took the lead over Dale Fellon of Mason City. But we saw the final outcome where Fellon, the sophomore from Mason City, became the new state 98-pound AAA state champion on that 5-4 win. Now back to you, Doug.
Thank you, gentlemen. We'll hear more about every weight class. 105 pounds coming right on up. And if you wonder who finished 3rd through 6th, well, you're going to get a chance to see everybody on the stand tonight. When they give the awards, we'll have them all. You won't miss any of the place winners, so you'll find out what happened to the boy down the street that you're interested in. You've been watching all his career, how he came out in the consolations today. You'll be able to find out. Now, 105 pounds. Again, we're showing the 1A matches at the first 4 weights. And we have another Lisbon young man wrestling against this boy. He's going to be something of a masked marvel here to protect his face. This is David Butler of Minburn, Iowa Central Dallas School, 26-3. His opponent is Brett Stone King, who's lost only once this year for this champion Lisbon team. Lisbon on the left in the red, the light, and on the right is David Butler. Referee is Michael Stiles, Mike Stiles of Sioux City.
Stone King also has been rated a top wrestler in his class all year.
Up in 2A, Corey Mills will be up against John Regan, Cedar Rapids, LaSalle's Regan, Gilbertville, Don Bosco. That's the AA match we'll be trying to keep up on too. And at AAA, we'll have Steve Knight of Clinton against another Gibbons. Jeff Gibbons, trying to make it 8 straight years for the Gibbons family with a state title. And here at our 1A match, you see Butler in an awfully high position.
Butler tried to stick the crossbody right in put the legs in there, and Stone King made a quick roll through trying to pop the leg out as he came through, and just couldn't quite get it through. Couldn't quite shake that leg off.
They've gone through 56 seconds. That's Butler wearing the face mask, starting on top.
Butler's been sort of a surprise to the state tournament here. He's not a veteran to the tournament. I'm sure he's no surprise to those Central Iowa teams around Minburn, but the veteran Stone King, a state champ 2 years ago and a runner-up a year ago, is having some big problems with Butler. David took him down with a real nice single leg drop, tripped inside, and he's controlling him real well on top too.
Yep, he has the leg in and the far arm, underhook, and referee says this started over again. Now we have 38 seconds to go in the first period. 2-0. Butler, you're looking into the face of Brett Stone King. Stone King could not make a move off that leg. Butler's in there tough with that.
He tried the same little roll through again. Sometimes if you pop through real explosive, the leg pops out.
It worked this time.
He did get it to go.
That's a reversal for Stone King. It's 2-2. Out of bounds. 18 seconds to go. David Butler is a senior from Central Dallas. And Brett Stone King is another senior from Lisbon. He finished 2nd last year and 1st at 98 pounds as a freshman. Or as a sophomore, I should say. And Stone King looking for his 2nd title. Standing there tough. We have just a few seconds left. First period. That's it. End of the first period. Stone King and Butler are tied 2-2. Let's see, who gets the choice? Stone King gets it. Says, I'll go up. He wants to ride. You're looking at Brad Smith, who had a fine career at the University of Iowa.
Corey Mills leads 4-1 in 2A.
And at 3A, by the way, if you're interested in how that's coming out, Jeff Gibbons leads 6-1 over Steve Knight of Clinton in the 2nd period, which has just started.
Just starting a 2nd period also in that 2A match.
And here we're just starting 2nd period with Stone King with an arm barred on top. Riding tough. Look at that. He wants to put him right on the back right here.
It looks like it's all over.
It is. 2 minutes and 21 seconds into the match. It's another win for the Lisbon Lions. It's Brett Stone King by fall over David Butler of Minburn.
Well, that's what got him to the finals in the first place. He's a pinner, he's tough on top, and he scores a lot of points.
He won his first match of this tournament in 24 seconds, and his 3rd one in 1:28. And he won another one 11-7. That's getting to be a broken record over there for Lisbon. Let's see it again. He just drove him over.
Well, he had a bar arm on one side, and when Butler reacted to that, he put a Huff Nelson on the other side and drove it real quickly and got his head caught underneath, and tough to turn out of that.
Now let's go to AAA because we're halfway through the second period. We're going to watch Steve Knight of Clinton against Jeff Gibbons of Ames. Now, the Ames boy Gibbons from the Wrestling Gibbons family is in the black uniform, and he leads here 9-3. He's the one with the over and under against Steve Knight of Clinton.
Jeff Gibbons and Knight from Clinton have met only one time that I know of, and that was not in a high school match. That was in a freestyle tournament this summer, in which they were #1 and #2 in the state high school freestyle tournament, and then went on to the USWF National Freestyles, in which Knight won it, and Gibbons didn't place.
And Gibbons is a sophomore. As you know, I'm sure by now, his brothers Jeff and Joe won 7 state titles between them. And if he keeps this one up, it's now 9-4. He just gave up an escape. He would win a family championship for the 8th year in a row.
Well, I'll tell you, those AAA lightweights have just got to be discouraged when every year they turn around, there's another Gibbons in the lineup.
Now you see Knight on the right. He's asked to make up 5 points. Edge of the mat, no points.
And a match between these two is, there's never a sure winner to the final buzzer, because that Knight from Clinton is capable of doing upper body throws and scoring a lot of points really fast. So even if he is down by 5 right now, he can even things up real fast.
Gibbons was just warned for stepping back in that situation. See him locked up.
And there it is.
The score is 7-1. Oh, there is the throw. And Gibbons is in real trouble here on the edge of the mat. 2-2. That makes it 9-8. 2-point takedown and 2-point near fall.
That's just exactly why Gibbons was backing out. He's afraid of that upper body tie-up, because Knight is so tough in there.
A lot of time left. We're at the beginning of the third period. Jeff Gibbons against Steve Knight of Clinton. That's Steve Knight, 28-2, coming in.
This could be interesting with a stalling warning on Gibbons already. He can't afford to just ride and hang on, or they'll give him the penalty point. And he surely doesn't want to go on the feet with Knight, because that's where he's the toughest.
It's now tied, 9-all. Okay, men, here we are. That's where we started. Yes, Gibbons is going to have to watch it. He almost backed away that time from the looks of it.
It's really tough against an upper body throw man to keep from backing out, because they can tie up in there safely and just push too. So the referees are going to have to keep an eye out for which man really is being aggressive out there.
Jeff Gibbons on the left, Steve Knight on the right. There's a attempt by Knight to snap down and spin around, but it didn't quite work. Time left, 1:15.
Should be some interesting strategy here. Neither one of them is going to want to go into an overtime. They want to get it over with. Knight wants to work upper body, and Gibbons is trying to work underneath Knight. And
that's the Ames coaching staff. There's Jack Mendenhall on the left and Bob Imkoven on the right. You can go all the way back in that Ames coaching career to when young Jeff Gibbons started out with Jim Amfer over at Welch Junior High School at Ames. A lot of starters come through that program, and here they are. 105 pounds AAA.
It's an attempted fireman's carry, and Gibbons' arm slipped off the top, couldn't keep a hold of Knight's arm.
Time 47 seconds as they come back to the center. Knight made a big move there when he was down and has brought this match back to a tie.
Even though Gibbons' leg shots aren't looking real effective, he has to keep going after him, because he does not want to fight Knight up top. Does not want to go throws with him.
Steve is only a junior, too. He finished 6th at 98 pounds 2 years ago and qualified last year at 98 pounds. He's up one weight. 18 seconds to go. A stall warning this time against Knight. So we're even. 15 seconds, and Gibbons is in if he can keep it.
A real deep double leg shot, but he slipped up the back, didn't get his hands locked.
Now we have 6 seconds to go.
Looks like we're probably going to have an overtime here. I can't see either of them taking a risk at this point.
Well, there it is. We have an overtime. And overtime at AAA, Steve Knight, Clinton against Jeff Gibbons of Ames, 9-9. Gibbons at one time led 9-3 when we joined them. And suddenly, after one of those Knight throws, it was 9-8, and an escape evened it up.
And Corey Mills won 11-2 in that 2A match.
Corey Mills of Gilbertville, Don Bosco. And you already saw we were able to cover this AAA match because Brett Stone King pinned David Butler of Minburn, Central Dallas, in the second period. That was our starting match at 105 pounds. Referee here is Ralph Messerly. You see Ames coaches talking to Jeff Gibbons. And in overtime, they go 1-1.
Yes, one on the feet and 1 minute each on the bottom.
Here we go. Overtime. This is what the season has been for these young men.
And an overtime competition used to be that were there a tie after an overtime, it would come down to a referee's decision, and he would decide who the winner would be on his own opinion. They've made a list of criteria now so that they take a lot of the subjectivity out of it.
1 minute. Start on their feet. This is the way it's been with Gibbons with his back to the edge and Knight inside.
Double leg drop shot, not quite deep enough.
That has used up 25 seconds. It's Gibbons with his back to you. Knight's kept his distance from those shots, but on the other hand, you can't throw somebody when you're back there either.
This is true.
Try for a shuck by Gibbons, trying to throw Knight by and couldn't do it.
Have you noticed that they're a little tentative while they're right out in the middle of the match, but a lot of the action happens right on the edge.
And there was a beautiful duck under by Knight. Did it count?
No.
No.
The knees went out of bounds. The knees are called the supporting points in a position like that, and they went out of bounds before control was claimed.
That was a good slick move, wasn't it?
Oh, it was beautiful, beautiful.
No score. There's the end of the first period. Now we go to the second 1 minute overtime period. Here's the flip for it. Gibbons is going down. Knight going for back points. Gibbons to escape or reverse. This is the only match still going at 105. Gibbons is out in a hurry. That gives him a 1-point lead.
Very flexible underneath there. Knight had good tight waist on him and an ankle, and he just turned all the way in, faced him right from the same position.
Oh, a pretty heel pick there by Knight, and he's got 2.
41 seconds left.
And it's a 2-1 lead for Knight of Clinton. Picked that heel and head and really made it work. Right on the edge of the mat.
I think Knight is playing a real smart match here. He's got Gibbons spooked with his throws, and Gibbons trying to back away from his throws. He pulled his head down and picked that ankle. It's the same way he set up that duck under.
2-2 again because Gibbons is out. But remember, third period, if nobody scores here, Gibbons has to ride, and that gives Knight the chance to pick up that escape point.
Should it come into a tie, 2-2, Knight would win on criteria because of his 2-point takedown for his points rather than 2 escapes. On the criteria list, takedowns come above escapes.
But 2 takedowns would have made it even better.
Beautiful wrestling on part of both of those wrestlers. Super reactions.
Now we're at the end of the second period. 2-2, overtime. They look pretty calm for an overtime match in a championship, don't they?
On the outside.
Yes.
That's a pretty helpless position to be in sometimes.
There you see Bob Luters of Clinton. Now Gibbons let Knight up right away. Made it 3-2, and he's putting his eggs in a takedown basket.
Well, he knows that he would lose on criteria if there was no score, and his best bet is to try and take him down rather than try to turn him. And even though they've gone even on takedowns in this match, that's still his best gamble.
3-2. Knight now with his back to the outside. Gibbons has the leg.
In deep on a single. Knight's got an underhook on one side and pushes him off.
A lot of power there for Steve Knight. Saw Jeff Gibbons glance at the clock.
There's going to be a stall warning.
And I believe, now let's see, is that
against Knight, I'm sure.
He was warned once in regulation time, and that doesn't count.
The stall warnings do not carry over into the overtime match. It's just like a brand new match. None of the score, none of the warnings carry over.
15 seconds. 15 seconds to go. Gibbons and Knight. A lot of nail biting going on here. Gibbons trying a shot, can't get it. Don't think he's quite strong enough to throw Knight. Out of bounds with only 3 seconds to go. This may be the first time you'll ever see a Gibbons lose in the state meet.
He has to have a takedown.
And he couldn't get it.
Not enough time.
It's Steve Knight of Clinton. An overtime winner over Jeff Gibbons of Ames. 3-2 in overtime. It was 9-9 regulation.
Direct your attention to the award stand at the
now we're going to go to the other end of the auditorium for the awards at 98 pounds.
Presenting the Class 1A awards, Coach Brad Smith of Lisbon. 98-pound finishers. 6th place, Joe Stefani, Dallas Center, Grimes. 5th place, Matt Carl Corning. 4th place, Craig Lee Bedford. 3rd place, Brad Reed, Oakland. 98-pound runner-up, Mike Heeman, Riceville. And the 98-pound champion from Lisbon, Dean Happel.
That was Dean Happel of Lisbon, the 98-pound winners in 1A. And now we're going to get a chance to take a look at the 2A winners, all the way down through 6th place.
6th place, Kent Sister, Tipton. 5th place, Grant Eckenrod, Benton Community. 4th place, Don Hoffman, Acton East Union. 3rd place, Brian Corgi, Winterset. Runner-up at 98 2A, Jeff Schmitz, Gilbertville, Don Bosco, and the 2A 98-pound champion from Osage, Mark Schwab.
There are some of the more than 12,000 people here for this 62nd annual high school championship.
Presenting the
now the AAA winners are coming up,
Jerry
98
Ray
pounds.
Mason City. 6th place, Chuck Harden, Prairie Cedar Rapids. 5th place, Mick Slinger, Charles City. 4th place, Mike Guthrie, West Des Moines Dowling. 3rd place, Steve Waddell, Bettendorf. Runner-up, Mickey Bates, Davenport West. And the 98-pound 3A champion from Mason City, Dale Fellon.
Attaboy Dale, he pulled it off in the last second, and he deserves to smile up there. Now let's hear our 4 reports on 105 pounds, and here is Dean Boer.
A very happy Corey Mills won his 2nd state championship. Corey last year was a state champion at 98 pounds, moved up to 105 this year, and decisioned John Regan of Cedar Rapids, LaSalle, 11-2. Mills had a takedown in the first period, an escape and a takedown in the second period, a takedown and 2 back points in the third period to defeat John Regan, 11-2. So Corey Mills of Gilbertville, Don Bosco, a state champion for the 2nd year in a row. Doug?
And you saw what happened at 105 pounds in the AAA. We had a lot of that with the Gibbons. And night match. Now 112. Well, you're going to look at another Lisbon uniform down here because this team has been so strong this year. They had title candidates in practically every one of the lower weights. Here is C.T. Campbell on the right, another of Brad Smith's boys, against the favorite here in this weight, Scott Yaley of Durant, undefeated in 29 matches in the blue, and there's why.
Oh, beautiful,
tuck under.
Beautiful high cross maneuver, switched off behind. This is one of the matches I've been waiting for. These two have been rated #1, #2 all year long. A real pair of tough guys.
Okay, you're down, Lisbon.
This is the 1A. We're carrying the 1A matches, the first 4, and up there you see in the corner of the right, the AA contendants, Dave Ludeman of Cresco and Al Francis of Gilbertville Don Bosco. We'll be keeping an eye on that. And also AAA, Tim Klinghammer of West Waterloo, undefeated, against Bobby Thompson of Fort Dodge. We'll keep our eye on that one as well. But we're going to stick with this 1A match in the lower weights. C.T. Campbell on the bottom, trailing 2-0 to undefeated Scott Yaley. Escape 2-1, and then comes Campbell on at least an attempt at something, but it was, Yaley looks strong on that counter.
That Yaley is a real solid individual. He's a state champ 2 years ago and the runner-up last year, and he's really hungry for a title this year. But I'm sure he knows better than to take anyone from Lisbon for granted in the finals. He may be rated, but you can't give much ratings. By the time they get to the finals in state, they throw those out the window and just go.
On the left, Yaley.
Work in, work in, work.
Referee Terry Curtis. We have microphones on our referees again.
You might be interested to know that a year ago, right before this state tournament, Scott Yaley had an operation to have a pacemaker put in on his heart. Had some trouble with an irregular heartbeat, and from the looks of things, he knows how to turn that thing on for full ahead.
Well, you do just running up a few beats, I guess.
I guess.
What do you say, Lisbon?
For the championship match. That's the end of the first period. It's 2-1 in favor of Yaley. And Campbell will start up. Campbell and Yaley are both seniors.
Okay, Durant, down and set.
Campbell finished 5th last year.
Okay, cover him, Lisbon.
That's Yaley.
C.T. Campbell has but 2 losses this year, and I know at least one of those is to the #1 rated AA 112-pounder Francis from Don Bosco, and possibly both of them.
Yaley had an escape immediately to make it 3-1, and then a real quick move there to make it 5-1.
We're out of bounds. Lisbon will go down.
Scott Yaley. We'll take a look at that again. That snappy takedown.
Shot in on a single, and Yaley just slipped the arm free and spun around behind, controlling through the back between the legs.
Now Yaley's riding. We have a minute and a half left. Another escape for Campbell makes it 5-2. But Campbell needs points, and they're tough to pick up against this young man from Cedar County, Durant.
Well, Yaley feels real comfortable on his feet. That's where the best part of his wrestling is. And you'll notice that if there's a tight situation while he's riding on top, he'll just push him away and give him an escape, because he's happy as can be just to work on his feet.
Let's come inside, men.
Back they go. There's Brad Smith again. His team wrapped up the championship on Friday night. As soon as I think they showed up at the auditorium, they gave him the trophy.
They'll be in tight for a few battles on the finals anyway. There are going to be some good individual matchups.
Back to the center.
Wouldn't surprise me now if they call a little stall warning here.
And they did against Campbell. There's Charles Rogers, the coach at Durant. Might be interested to know there's a lot of noise in the auditorium while this is going on. It's because of a near-fall situation where Tim Klinghammer of West Waterloo has the Fort Dodge boy Thompson on his back. And we may get a chance to tell you about that here in just a little while. The score is 5-2 here in favor of Yaley on the left.
Al Francis is leading a 2A match, 5-0. And Klinghammer is 2-0 right now in the AAA match.
5-0 because of back points.
Marked that as soon as he turned over.
We're almost through the second period here at 112 pounds in the 1A. This champion Lisbon team, represented by Campbell. Again, you saw Yaley on a duck under. This time Campbell escaped from it. No points. End of the period.
Campbell may try to keep this period down on the mat. It may be his best bet because he's not having much success on his feet with Yaley.
5-2 score in favor of Durant. 5-2 Durant.
Campbell has been warned once. Yaley will start on top.
Okay, come ahead, Durant.
So you're saying that Campbell will stay down here?
He may try to work for a reversal rather than an escape, because chances are he'll score better against Yaley while they're down on the mat.
But Yaley worked it right out front to try to avoid that. He let him have the escape. It's 5-3, Yaley by 2. And we're back up where Yaley wants to be.
He is just one solid individual. He is really tough to score on. He's tough upper body, and he's got some good shots. And the one time that Campbell got a good shot in on there, he spun around behind him. He's just pretty sound on his feet.
Durant came into this final round in 3rd place. They were only a half a point ahead of Riceville. And Riceville failed in its first effort against the Lisbon young man earlier. And Bondurant Farrar looks as if that team is out of reach. In second, Lisbon is the safe first. 5-3 with 1:11 to go. Yaley on the left, but he's back to you now, leads.
Yaley's working that underhook right in there, trying to get those elbows to go outside so he can duck again. Campbell now looks like he's going for broke. He's going to try and throw and
when you get in that underhook.
Get some multiple points in there, going for a takedown, possibly to the back.
After all, it is only a 2-point lead. Edge of the mat and out of bounds again. 44 seconds to go.
It's tough to know what a guy wants to do out there right now. Campbell has tried up, he's tried down, he's tried shooting the legs, and nothing's worked so far on Yaley.
You're underhooking and pushing off. Warning here.
Terry Curtis just warned Yaley. And Scott nodded his head, didn't disagree. You see the clock ticking away, though, up there. 25 seconds to go.
It's interesting to note, too, that throughout the tournament, these two have been really offensive wrestlers. They score a lot of points. They're working to the back all the time. And when the two top wrestlers get together, there hasn't been as much action.
Now, this little timeout, I think,
is have to go to something other than the underhook one.
The Lisbon coaches. No, that's not. That's Charles Rogers, who didn't agree with the stall warning. Again out of bounds. 16 seconds to go.
Campbell shoots in on a fireman's attempt, doesn't get deep enough. Campbell shoots in again, trying a headlock, not quite tight enough. I think Yaley's stalling right now. He's got his head buried in the shoulder and an underhook.
And there it is. The first loss for Lisbon in the finals, and a second championship for Scott Yaley of Durant. Undefeated this year in 30 matches. He defeats C.T. Campbell of Lisbon 5-3, 112-pound champion of the 1A division.
He may make an excellent college wrestler if he's college bound.
Well, there it was. There's Brad Smith, the champion. We're going to see now the first 6 place winners at 105 pounds at the other end of the auditorium.
6th place, Brian Broswell, Manly North Central. 5th place, Jeff Struck, Tripola. 4th place, Brett Altman, Gilmore City. 3rd place, Ed O'Connor, Dyke. Runner-up, David Butler, Minburn, Central Dallas. And the 105 1A champion from Lisbon, Brett Stone King.
There's number 2 for Lisbon and number 2 for Mr. Stone King, too.
They're keeping Brad Smith busy. He's got to run from the mat over to give awards to his people.
You should have seen him earlier in the tournament when he had 8 wrestlers going, and first 4 weights, he was running back and forth from one side of the floor to the other, trying to help them all out while they're on at the same time.
That's good for him. Here's the double A.
Dan Mashik of Gilbertville, Don Bosco. 6th place, Jeff Bakken, Northwood, Kensett. 5th place, Roy Reeks, Jackson Junction, Turkey Valley. 4th place, Dan House, Sigourney. 3rd place, Matt Deal, Osceola Clark. Runner-up, John Regan, Cedar Rapids, LaSalle. And the 105 2A champion from Gilbertville, Don Bosco, Corey Mills.
Gilbertville, Don Bosco. Happy man again.
2nd year in a row as a champion for Corey Mills, too.
Coach Dan Mashik. Well, up next come the winners in the AAA division. We saw a good deal of that match, that final championship match.
Looters of Clinton. 6th place, Tim Cackwell Spencer. 5th place, Alan Paradise, Iowa City West. 4th place, Chuck Pearson, Waterloo East. 3rd place, Brian Waddell, Bettendorf. Runner-up from Ames, Jeff Gibbons, and the 105 3A champion from Clinton, Steve Knight.
Steve Knight, who won an overtime match. Well, let's get our floor reports about 112 pounds. Dean Board.
Doug L. Francis of Gilbertville, Don Bosco, came into this tournament with an unblemished record. He finished it that way. He's a state champion. He decisioned Dave Ludeman of Crestwood of Cresco 5-1. In doing that, there was a scoreless first period, and then Francis came on in the second period 5-0 with an escape, a takedown, and 2 back points, and then ended up 5-1 with a penalty point for stalling against Francis in the period, being the only Ludeman point awarded. So Al Francis 5-1 over Dave Ludeman. Dick Trotter, how was it in AAA? We got how was that championship you just won?
It was great. Last year I got second, you know, and that's the only thing I've been working for this year is to gain my title, and it's a long road.
It sure was. How did you prepare for today?
Our coach, we'd have practice like at 6:30 in the morning, and that was mainly for endurance, lifting weights, and drilling. And we go from 3 o'clock to about 6:30 after school. And then, you know, that was pretty much on our own. And I have an exercise bike at home, and so I'd go home and ride 12 miles
But
a
now
day.
you've got that gold medal around your neck, and it was all worth it.
Yes, it
Let's go to Dick Trotter and find out how it was on AAA.
Well, now we're going to have to hold off on that report at 112 pounds from Dick Trotter and go to 119 pounds. We're still in the 1A division, and we have Bondurant, Farrar's Dwayne Norton against Coon Rapids' Marty Davis.
Marty Davis back for his 2nd title.
And there's trouble immediately.
A little pancake there, underhooked both arms and turned him right over. Davis is a big scorer. He's a pinner and come through this tournament with guys on their back just like that.
Now up in the corner, you see the 2A match will also be following. Jeff Colfeld of Eagle Grove against Mike Brainerd of Esterville. That's the AA. And then at AAA, we'll have Tim Krieger of Mason City and Brandon Tate of Waterloo, Columbus. We'll keep our eye on those other matches. Our main match here for the lower 4 weights is Dwayne Norton against Marty Davis. And
it's all over.
That one wrapped up in a big hurry, didn't it?
Well, Marty Davis, the real physical wrestler, caught him in one mistake, turned him over, and never got up.
Well, I'll tell you what, while we were telling you about the ones we're going to watch, we're going to end up watching them because that one finished in a very big hurry. Only one match lost. So let's pick out AAA. You're looking at it there on the right. This is the AAA 119-pound class. Tim Krieger of Mason City against Brandon Tate of Waterloo, Columbus. Now, Krieger is on top with 44 seconds to go.
In the first period.
In the first period, and Krieger has a lead of 3-2. Referee is Dwight Spangler of DeWitt. Single leg. Nice move there by Krieger again, but it was fought off.
Brandon Tate. Brandon Tate is first part of a brother act for the Columbus Waterloo team. Oh, man, a beautiful attempt at a throw. Off the mat. Tim Krieger's been rated #1 all year long. A real tough, hard-nosed competitor. But Brandon Tate, as is like for most of the Columbus wrestlers, is real explosive and can score a lot of points.
5-3.
Krieger in on a real nice high crotch, switched off to a single, and keeps things tied up and under control.
Little timeout. I think that Krieger bit his tongue. And so we're going to have examination here. Says I'm all right, man. Go take care of somebody who's really hurt. We're going to look at that takedown again.
In on a single, he backs him up a little bit, can't quite spin him all the way down, so he works across to the far side and just squeezes the hips. Once the hips are under control, it's 2 points for a takedown.
Now we have gone to the second period, and it's 5-3. Brandon Tate, and you see there, needs 2 points to catch up.
Another note on the team race, after this last weight class, Gilbertville Don Bosco has moved up to within a half a point of Mount Vernon for the 3rd and 4th point place title in the AA. 68 to 67.5 points, and there's more competitors for each to come.
Mount Vernon still has 3 of them to go. Well, you see there Krieger, who is only a sophomore.
Krieger's riding the ankle, and he's working for the far shoulder, trying to maybe tie up that far arm, work for a pinhole. Right now, he's effectively riding Tate. I think he's got him a little confused about which way to turn.
They're both only sophomores. Warning on the bottom, inactivity, says referee Dwight Spangler. Warning against Tate. Next time it'll be a point. We have 1:05 to go, second period. 5-3 Krieger. Our 119-pound single A match ended in a quick fall. Marty Davis of Coon Rapids pinned Dwayne Norton of Bondurant Farrar. So now we're over at AAA, and we'll also keep our attention against on the AA match where Coltveld and Brainerd are wrestling. Coltveld of the championship-seeking Eagle Grove team, which came into the finals in 2nd place.
Right now, Brainerd is ahead 2-0 over Coltveld of Eagle Grove, and this could be sort of a revenge match. I believe these two have met earlier in the season with Coltveld on top.
Reversal. 5-5. Escape makes it 6-5. And nice. Krieger is in on a single again.
Low single, weights on the hands. Tate seems to have just given up on that.
8-5. Well, Krieger has been, obviously, his plan is to put the pressure on, keep it coming all the time. We have 25 seconds to go in the second period.
For those that have been watching the tournament all week here, the Columbus wrestler Tate has had a slight record of shutting down in that 3rd period and tiring out. I think possibly due to an injury to his elbow or whatever, but he has just barely snuck by in a couple of his preliminary matches.
Time. There's the end of the period. 2 minutes to wrestle. And the score is 9-5.
It looks like a reversal in the 2A match there. Coltveld and Brainerd are tied up 2-2 right now. Coltved's locking up a cradle, looking for some fall points.
That's the AAA match. You see Krieger, who leads, trying to come out for more points. He leads 9-5. He's got at least one more here.
He's got a front quarter Nelson on there, and he's got it real tight.
It's called an escape. 10-5.
It's a tough move to base out of.
Now it's 12-5. And the Columbus boy has an injury. Or did he give him a tube on that?
Just received notice here that the quick fall that Marty Davis from Coon Rapids got, and is the fastest fall ever recorded in the 126-pound weight class in a state tournament of 36 seconds.
Let's go over to Double-A just for a second so you can see this tie match. It's 25 seconds to go and a 2-2 score. It's Coltfeld of Eagle Grove against Brainerd of Esterville.
Coltfeld's got a cradle locked up on the near side, a reverse cradle. He's had it locked up before and hasn't been able to turn Brainerd over with it.
He has only 5 seconds to do something with it or we're going to have an overtime. Oh, now can he hold it? Yes. Looked like he was getting close. There's the end of it, and we'll have an overtime at Double-A. We have an injury timeout at Triple-A where Brandon Tate of Waterloo Columbus is getting some attention. He's trailing 12-5. What we thought was a takedown turned out to have been one. Just slow going up on the board. We started to say there, Marty Davis had a championship round record pin.
For the 126-pound weight class, a 36-second
119,
fall. Yeah. Excuse me.
That's the way they wrote it when they handed it to us, 126. It's a default, I think. It is over at AAA. Tim Krieger of Mason City is the winner by default.
I'm not sure what type of injury it is.
That's the winner. Tim Krieger finished the year with only 1 loss. Mason City, he was ahead 12-5 when Tate decided he couldn't continue. Now we're going to the overtime, and the only match that's left at 119 pounds is Eagle Grove's Jeff Coltfeld against Esterville's Mike Brainerd.
Coltfeld's in pretty deep on a single. If he can keep it on the mat, switches to a double leg drop, turns to the inside, looks like 2.
He got it. Eagle Grove is within 4.5 points of Emmetsburg in the race for the 2A championship. Just simply put, Eagle Grove doesn't dare lose in their 3 championship matches.
Even should Eagle Grove win all 3 of their matches and Emmetsburg win both of their final matches, the score could be 108.5 for Emmetsburg and 108 for Eagle Grove. Now, that maybe brings into account the importance or extra points for superior decisions and falls. It is really a tight race.
Coltfeld on top, leading 2-0. There's the end of that first period, a very good period for Coltfeld. He wants up. And Mike Brainerd, there you see Mike. Wanted to switch, that didn't work. Coltfeld putting pressure on with a tight waist. Crossface out in front now. He'd like to make a crossface cradle out of it. He got it.
He's got it hooked up. He's had it a couple times before, but Brainerd is based out in, keeping a wide base. He's really hard to turn from there. But it is an effective ride, and it's hard to call a kid for stalling. This reason a pin hold, and in the process, he's getting wearing that clock down on top and padding his lead.
Coltfeld has spent most of this overtime period, both overtime periods so far on top. There are 23 seconds left in the second stanza here. Brainerd could not switch that time. Coltfeld fought it off.
Both of these fellas have, oh, there's a beautiful half Nelson. He's driving up over the top and the head's down, working from behind.
Spiral, real tough spiral ride in there, and there's the end of the second period.
As I was going to say, both of these guys are veterans to the tournament in their own respect. Coltfeld, only a sophomore, was second last year at 105 as a freshman, and Brainerd is qualified as a sophomore, and as a junior last year was 5th.
Now, second period. Brainerd started on top, but Coltfeld has an awfully tough whizzer in on him.
He sat out, reached back, got his whizzer hooked in there. We can using the hips in there to try to make some room.
Well, I'll tell you what, they are actually they have continued wrestling again at the AAA. That was called not a default. Apparently, Brandon Tate decided he could try it. And Krieger won it, this time by wrestling it. But now here we are at AA. It's a 3-0 score. An escape was given to Coltvelt. There are only 5 seconds to go. And it's over. Eagle Grove wins it. A big win for Coltvelt. Marv Ryland's team. Marv Ryland was the coach of the year.
Bright future for Marv over there with a sophomore state champion.
Let's go down and see the awards at 112 pounds. On the stand first, we'll have the wrestlers from the 1A division.
Presenting the Class 1A 112-pound awards, Coach Charles Rogers of Durant. Presenting the Class 1A 112-pound awards, Coach Charles Rogers of Durant. 6th place, Dave Vogt, Gilmore City, Bradgate. 5th place, Gary Johnson, Bedford. 4th place, Rod Barrier, Iowa School for the Deaf, Council Bluffs. 3rd place, Brad Brosdell, Manly North Central. Runner-up, C.T. Campbell, Lisbon. And the 112-pound 1A champion from Durant, Scott Yaley.
Two-time champion. A young man with a pacemaker. And it's a mighty fast pace. 112-pound champions in the 1A division. Now we're going to see the awards given for the AA championship at that same class, 112 pounds.
2A awards, Coach Dan Mashik of Gilbertville, Don Bosco. 6th place, Steve Rogers, Iowa City, Regina. 5th place, Jason Etherington, Algona. 4th place, Tim Hillpiper, Eagle Grove. 3rd place, Bruce Streicher, Starmont, Strawberry Point. Runner-up, Dave Ludeman, Cresco, Crestwood. And the 112-pound 2A champion from Gilbertville, Don Bosco, Al Francis.
That's a real wrestling school at Gilbertville, Don Bosco.
I say he had a tough road to get there to the top too. He had a returning state champ first round of the tournament.
And he won it. Well, we have now, that's because Gilbertville, Don Bosco went up to AA this year from where they've been at single A. Now the AAA winners.
Presenting the Class 3A awards, Coach Don Huff of Waterloo West. 6th place, Larry Shepard, Ottumwa. 5th place, Reggie Rogers, Waterloo Central. 4th place, Craig Cervantes, Bettendorf. 3rd place, Terry Cook, Spencer. Runner-up, Bobby Thompson, Fort Dodge, and the 3A 112 champion from Waterloo West, Tim Klinghammer.
Tim Klinghammer, the winners at 112 pounds. Now let's go to Dick Trotter. Explain what happened over there on that 119-pound AAA match.
Well, I'll tell you, Doug, it looked for a moment like they were going to forfeit the match or default the match to young Tim Krieger of Mason City. As it turned out, though, there was some confusion when the official score erased the score and was going to give the match to Krieger, but Brandon Tate of Waterloo, Columbus, here you see young Krieger, both of them sophomores, with his hand up, being declared the winner as he came on at the end of the match and won going away. But earlier on, it appeared as though a default might decide that match, and the fans really let them know that they were unhappy, and that match went right down to the wire. We wanted to go back now and remind you that another wrestler from Waterloo, this time Tim Klinghammer, won his 2nd consecutive state title. This year he went 28 wins and no losses as he defeated Bobby Thompson by the margin of 10-1 going away. And now back to you, Doug.
Thank you, Dick. And we're at 126. Here's our change point. Every 3 years, we said, the Iowa High School Athletic Association draws the weight classes ahead, and this year we drew the 1As through 119. And it just turns out that when we start here at 126, we get to see the 3 undefeated Mount Vernon wrestlers, and one of them will be going for his 4th state title. Here is Marty Williams, who's 30-0. He's in the maroon on the right, slightly darker color if you're watching black and white. And he's against Eric Strawn of Jefferson.
This is almost similar to last year's match. Mount Vernon and Jefferson in the finals. Strawn, only Strawn was wrestling.
Up in the 1A, you see Mike Davis against Earl Bryant. Davis of Mobile, Woodbury Central, Bryant of Morning Sun. And then at the AAA, Clinton's Perry Hughes against undefeated Mike Seymour of champion Bettendorf.
Both of these wrestlers are undefeated. Coming through a tournament, Strawn from one side of the bracket and Williams on the other side.
He worked a slick Kelly on Williams.
Both of these guys are really tough on their feet.
Strawn has had 2 points scored on him in this tournament. He won going away in all of them. 17-1, 9-0, 11-1.
His last loss in high school competition was in the finals last year against Greg Randall from Mount Vernon, 4-3. So he is a tough cookie.
The referee is Gene Luttrell.
While we're looking at the 2A matches here, the 2A score has gotten even closer. Oh, another nice Kelly by Strawn.
And he leads 4-1. Oh, he's an impressive young wrestler here, Eric Strawn. He beat Jay Van Cleve of LaSalle Cedar Rapids in his first match, 17-1. And then he took Jeff Brown of Centerville, who was a place winner last year, and 9-0. Let's see that Kelly again. Pin that shoulder to the floor and come under. Beautiful.
In those 2A standings with that last match, Colt Vets, he's pulled Eagle Grove within a half a point of Emmitsburg. The score now 100.5 to 100.
Got one, both up.
There they are. The winner, the leaders, Lisbon, obviously has this 1A wrapped up. Way ahead of Bondurant Farrar. Durant's now in third place by a few points over Riceville. Emmitsburg is now a half a point ahead of Eagle Grove, as you were just saying here. And Bettendorf has made a runaway of it in 3A. Score is 4-2 here. Strawn against Williams, and Williams goes to the underneath position.
This is the fourth time in the state tournament for Marty Williams. He's qualified all 3 years previous to this and hasn't placed yet, so you know he's pretty excited about tonight. This is his last shot at it. Strawn's riding that far wrist on there. He's really tough on top, a real physical kid. Williams is up on his feet.
Great, back to the middle, guys, back to the middle.
Back to the center.
Same position.
Referee's got a broken tutor there. His whistle isn't making much noise. There's he wants to change whistles now, as a matter of fact.
With the official of the year, Arlo Flagey. Must be a top-notch whistle for the top official in the state of the year for this year.
A minute 39 to go in the second period. We have Strawn ahead of this young man, Marty Williams, 4-2. The first of our Mount Vernon undefeated wrestlers up here.
In the 1A competition, Bryant from Morning Sun is leading 7-3.
All right, escape now for Williams. He's had 3 of them. And he trails now by only 1, 4-3. His difficulty he hasn't been able to put anything together on his feet. And at AAA, we have a scoreless match over there, Hughes and Seymour right now. We'll keep you advised.
Strawn in on a Kelly situation.
Kelly.
He's got that near arm and far leg, and once they're in deep on that, it's really tough to counter.
He almost turned that into a 4-point move, too. But Williams managed to get away from the back points at 6-3. 3 slick Kelly moves by Strawn.
Strawn is really aggressive on top here. He's constantly working for that fall, riding on top, really dominating Williams at this point. And in the state finals, sometimes kids are afraid to do that. And he's really setting a good example for the way the match should be wrestled.
45 seconds to go, second period. This is our IPBN coverage of the State Wrestling Championships. Happy to be bringing it to you again. I'm Doug Brown, and Randy Nielsen, former Iowa State All-American and Big 8 champion, now the assistant coach at Utah State.
Strawn's got hooked up a chicken wing, a bar arm, working maybe for a half Nelson on the other side or wrist control. He is a real goer on top.
It's a tough chicken wing up there.
Looks like he's going to get double bar. He's got them both hooked up there. This is one of the toughest moves to counter from underneath. There's just no way to turn, and he's over on his back.
I'll tell you, this is some serious bridging going on here by Marty Williams. He has 5 seconds left to hold it.
Well, once they get both arms barred up, you have nothing to block either side. It's really tough to keep from getting turned in a position like that.
That was a 3-point near fall. 9-3 at the end of the second period. Strawn is really racking them up. He goes to the underneath position, leading by 6 points. And 2 minutes are left to wrestle. This is the double A. Let's see that again. Look at that.
He's got a bar arm hooked on one side. He's come across. He's got both arms now, locks it up. There's nothing to block left, so he steps right over the head and takes him to his back.
You really have to hit him before they get the bridge.
You've got to somehow slip an arm or turn a hip some ways, because there's just no way to block him once they start turning now.
And Strawn started on the bottom, came out. It's 10-3. And he looks so strong on top. Doesn't know, up in that takedown position. He's out front with 3/4 Nelson and looking front Nelson.
You know, he can really intimidate Williams at this point. He not only is going for the takedown, but most of his takedowns are heading right towards the back, moving right into fall points, and that can really scare you off sometimes.
The shot he took there wasn't the best. But he might make this into a Kelly again. Look at it come.
This is his little place right here. Switches it off to a single on one side. Williams is trying to reach over the top, kind of a switch, kind of a blocking maneuver there. Comes to a double, pinches the far leg and switches off. Strawn switching off real well in there. No points awarded yet.
They will be now. Pretty quick as soon as he gets that hit. He has it. 12-3 is the score.
Williams has to stay out of that double underhook from the feet in there, because Strawn is, well, that's the 3rd time he slipped one arm and gone through a Kelly position, and he is really good in there. That's his favorite place.
12-4. Bryant was the winner at 1A, by the way. Bryant of Morning Sun, 9-4 over Mike Davis. We'll hear more about that. Still have about 1 minute and 15 to wrestle in the AAA, and that's a 1-0 match between with Seymour of Bettendorf leading.
Strawn in deep on a single, couldn't quite finish up.
Here it's 12-4 in favor of Eric Strawn of Jefferson, Iowa. He's coach John Kinley. Kind of sit there with his hands folded, I think. He makes that Kelly move work like magic.
Well,
there it is.
There's the state title for the young man from Jefferson. And the man that beat him last is Greg Randall from Mount Vernon, coming up next, going for his 4th state title.
A very impressive performance by Eric Strawn, state champion at 126 pounds in the AA division. Happy. Well, we still have some action left to go here at 126 in the AAA. It's Perry Hughes of Clinton who is in the position of disadvantage in the black uniform against Mike Seymour of Bettendorf. I should say the other way around, because Clinton is in the red and Mike Seymour of Bettendorf is in the black. And you see that Seymour, who is, by the way, from the team that has this 3A team championship wrapped up, leads by 1.
Seymour and Hughes have met several times this year, with Hughes coming out on top, but they've all been 1-point matches, real close. And they've had some real tight matches.
That hand in the air belongs to Earl Bryant of Morning Sun, the winner over in the 1A division. Earl Bryant, who lost only once this year, and that's his greeting from his coach, John Siegel. 9-4, big win for Bryant. Makes him the state champion. We always say every year, that's the nice thing about this sport. You can weigh 98 pounds and you can walk down the street. You're bigger than anybody. You are the state champion. Well, tonight IPBN wants to tell you about a big event. It's the championships of the Big Eight. Iowa State, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Nebraska, Missouri, gone for it over in Lincoln, Nebraska. It's happening tonight and tomorrow, and we'll have it for you on Wednesday beginning at 10:30 here on IPBN, the Big Eight Wrestling Championships. Now back we go.
Oh, nice move. Seymour in on a high crotch, switched off behind, got his takedown, and immediately Hughes came back with a little Granby maneuver, backed into him, and got a reversal, and I don't know whether he signaled a near fall or not.
No. 3-2 is the score. Seymour still leads.
Hughes riding on top of that cross body. Pretty good control in there. Decides to let him up. Go for those takedowns.
4-2, and he got takedown. It looks like maybe back points. I don't know if he had him stopped. 2, yes, 2 on the back.
It only takes a hesitation for a second when the shoulders break that paint plane of 45 degrees.
Well, now that should. We have a coach who has his knee in the way of our seeing the scoreboard. Otherwise, we make sure the score
4 on the scoreboard, but they're talking about it. I believe it might be 5-4. Depending on where they...
Of course, we can't have a referee tell you because we didn't have the referee mic'd in that weight. It was down at the 1A mat, or the 2A mat. Now we're going to change it. That's it. Move that scoreboard, fellas. That's what they're doing for us. 7-4. Hughes of Clinton leads by 3.
A lot of points scored there in a short amount of time.
Well, as you say, he hasn't been able to beat Seymour this year. Good place for a win, and he finally did it. Boy, I'll tell you.
He is also another one of the brother acts here at state tournament this year. His older brother is in the state championship finals at 145.
And there he is, Harry Hughes. Coaches love to play catcher when they jump like that. Well, let's have the awards for 119 pounds. 6th place winners, 1A.
6th place, Scott Whitehill, Tabor Fremont Mills. 5th place, Jim Gribben, Mason City Newman. 4th place, Kerry Kaufman, Olds Waco. 3rd place, Joe McMullen, Corning. 2nd place, Dwayne Norton, Bondurant Farrar. And the 1A 119-pound champion from Coon Rapids, Marty Davis.
Second time around for Marty. It's his 2nd title in 2 years.
He wanted to go home early tonight. Won a quick pin. That's the 1A championship.
Looks like the Mount Vernon mascot there.
I think so. I thought she was wearing her chicken inspector badge there.
They're getting ready for their favorite star, Greg Randall.
Will be coming up next.
Presenting the Class 2A
awards for AA at
Mark
119.
Ryland of Eagle Grove. 6th place, Larry Graham, Shenandoah. 5th place, Kirk Azinger, DeWitt Central. 4th place, Larry Burns, Waukon. 3rd place, Bob Luer, Emmetsburg. Runner-up, Mike Brainerd, Esterville. And the 2A 119-pound champion from Eagle Grove, Jeff Coltbeat.
Very big win because Eagle Grove is in the race for the title.
Coltbeat is only a sophomore. We'll see more of him in the next couple of years.
Now, as the crowd settles down after that, we'll have the AAA winners come up on the stand. We're still at 119 pounds. And there they are.
With that...
Coach of the Year will be up there to present the awards because his boy won the championship.
Awards, Coach Jerry Ray of Mason City. 6th place, James Rivera, Fort Dodge. 5th place, Rich Herman, Southeast Polk. 4th place, Gary Campbell, Council Bluffs, TJ. 3rd place, Bart Taylor, Council Bluffs, Abraham Lincoln. 2nd place, Brandon Tate, Waterloo, Columbus. and the 3A 119-pound champion from Mason City, Tim Krieger.
Attaboy, Tim. Let's get our floor report starting with Dean Borg.
Doug Earl Bryant of Morning Sun, decision Mike Davis of Woodbury Central, 9-4 at 126 in the single A match. Bryant had a very tight cradle, a takedown in that first period for 5 points. He added 2 more in the reversal in the second, and then back points again in the third to decision, 9-4. Earl Bryant of Morning Sun, who came into this tournament with just 1 loss, is now the champion at 126 single A. Dick Trotter, what happened in AAA?
I'll tell you, in AAA competition, you wouldn't have believed it. It went this way. It started out all Mike Spurgeon of Bettendorf, but it didn't turn out that way. Spurgeon had a comfortable 4-0 lead. As it turned out, he was defeated by young Perry Hughes of Clinton. The final score was 7-4 as Hughes, there you see him right at the end, jumping into his coach's arms, Coach Luters from Clinton, and the new state champion at 126, Perry Hughes of Clinton. And 132, Greg Randall of Mount Vernon is in there in a very important match against Grundy Center's Doug Stumberg, 25-3. Randall is 26-0, and what's more, he's taking his shot at a 4th state championship, a feat done by only 4 other wrestlers in the history of Iowa high school wrestling. And there you see Randall on top immediately. Points? No. Yes. Up in the corner, you see the single A match, Todd Arensdorf of Lake Park, Harris Lake Park, against North Tama County's wrestler Courtney Risk. We'll keep track of that. And also AAA, Louis Massey of Lewis Central of Council Bluffs and John Bellig of Bettendorf. But here we are at AA. Greg Randall has a 2-point takedown, another one, and an escape. It's 4-1, and he's started big.
Yeah, he wants to work from the feet. He's working, right now he's been working a near arm and far leg shot, trying to work right straight to the back. He's going to try and put Stumberg away. Stumberg so far has rolled through and countered and kept out of major trouble, although he's given up 2 takedowns.
Stumberg's been here before, too. He finished 4th last year at 119 and qualified 2 years ago at 105. So he's experienced. But Greg Randall has been here 3 times and won 3 championships.
Nice arm drag position, but no points scored. Randall comes back out of there with a throw.
And leads 6-2. I think that must be a little discouraging to make a good move and end up on your back.
Well, Greg Randall is one of the most wide open, high-scoring wrestlers that's ever come through state Iowa, and he enjoys throwing people on their back. He can take you from a position where you feel very confident and flip you right to your back.
And he's a nationally known freestyler, too, so there's no doubt that he and his brother will go high on the recruiters list.
Well, he's on my list.
6-2. We have 10 seconds left in the first period.
Let's break it off.
Both these wrestlers are wearing maroon, by the way.
Still down there, stalemated.
You're watching black and white, trying to figure out which is which.
Okay, set.
We're going to look at that last takedown by Randall.
Randall got his hips in tight, hip tossed him right over the top. Although Stumberg did roll through on there, he did get the takedown. In 1A, Risk is ahead 2-0.
And in AAA, it's 2-0.
Green, your choice.
In favor of Bellig,
Green
who
takes that.
might be considered an
Score
underdog
6-2
against Massey.
Red started the second period.
Randall will start on the bottom, Stumberg on the top. The referee is Arlo Flegge,
Okay, set,
the official of the year. Or rather, well, he wasn't the official of the year, but he was in the Officials Hall of Fame.
Randall does a little 4-point stand-up. He's so strong in there, he's tough to hold. Reaches back for a headlock. Doesn't get the throw, but uses it effectively. He'll come out front for a 1-point escape. Stumberg still reaching for maybe a single leg or keeping that underhook in there. He doesn't want to come up, or Randall's liable to pull him over the top of his hips again for another throw.
Stalemate, you got to use it, you guys. Keep working.
1:28 to go. Second period, 7-2, Randall leads. Bam! Pancake by Randall. He has Stumberg on his back.
And he's in trouble. He is in big trouble there. He's got plenty of time to tighten it up. He's got over a minute. Lets it slip by.
But he still has a very strong bar arm on the left. It's 9-2 now. Should be 11, actually. I think he had back points there.
3 back points.
Three, he calls it. Let's make it 12-2.
And Greg Randall is an excellent example of a wrestler. In the fact that he's strong and flexible and quick and very smooth. He's got all the tools it takes. He's working a bar arm right now and a half Nelson to the far side. He's just overpowering Stumberg right now.
One now, Bolton.
Well,
one of them is still up.
You see Randall's very free on top.
2 now. You're down.
Takedown.
Using that near arm far leg.
14-3 with the escape in there for Stumberg. That's Randall going for number 4.
He's really greedy for back points. He won't take a takedown for 2. He wants to turn it into multiple points.
Okay, set. Move on.
Other matches, 2-2 at AAA between Massey and Bellick now in the second period. And in the 1A division, it's 2-0 in favor of Risk over Arenstorff, with third period just starting. Randall leads 14-3, and he has a cradle locked up.
Break there. End of the second period. Scores 14.
I'll tell you, we've seen in our TV coverage of these tournaments 3 of the 4 four-time winners in their final matches, and I don't recall any of them being as one-sided as this. There was always a very workmanlike win by the 4-time champion, but here it's 14-3.
Well, Randall's a big scorer.
Oh, and he has again, he has Stumberg on his back. I don't know if he got back points for it.
We haven't signaled him yet.
No.
One of them now.
No, he's called even. 14-4 with the escape.
The amazing part about Randall here is that he is dominating the score, 14-4. He's overpowering Stumberg, and Stumberg is a top quality wrestler. This Greg Randall may be one of the toughest 4-timers that ever come out of the state. He is really exceptional. A little attempt at a spin through by Stumberg, but no luck. Randall.
Wicked move by Randall.
Near arm and far leg. He likes that. He gets you in trouble on one side and then attacks the other side.
And you can go on your back with that in a big hurry. 16-4 is the score. We are now down to a minute left.
He's so relaxed on top right now. He's floating back and forth. He's been catching Stumberg on mistakes.
Randall won his first match against Dave DeMoss of Knoxville 17-5 and then had 2 pins. And he has one going away in all of them. 132-pound championship of the AA division. Greg Randall going for number 4.
Risk is ahead 4-2 down there in the 1A match with about 40 seconds to go.
And it's now 5-2 in favor of Massey at the AAA division. They just picked up 3 there for Massey. Again, 10 seconds to go. A pancake move. Randall has him down.
Well, Stumberg tried to step in there with a fireman's carry. He's got to try to go after him. He's being real aggressive, but Randall's just overpowering him.
But there it is. No pin. 5-point move. Makes it 21-4. Boy, he looks impressive, as everybody knew he would. This is Greg Randall, a 4-time champion from Mount Vernon, Iowa. There it is.
And he deserves all the applause he can get. The crowd here at Veterans Auditorium is all on their feet.
On their feet to celebrate the victory, only the 5th in history of a 4-time champion.
With his coach, Tim Riley.
Greg Randall. Now let's see that last move.
Stumberg reached in for a fireman's, and Randall blocked the arm and pancaked him for about the 3rd time he's done that.
And
holds him right there on his back till the buzzer rings.
21-5. Now we're going to go up to AAA in just a second to see the conclusion of the match between Louis Massey of Lewis Central of Council Bluffs and John Bellig of Bettendorf. The score here is 5-2 in favor of Massey. It was 2-2. Massey on top.
Massey was
trying to make a guillotine out of this.
Massey was a champion 2 years ago at 98 pounds and has placed every year since then, but this is his first shot, real bona fide shot at a title.
Watch that arm. Ooh, watch the shoulder. Potentially dangerous. 5-2 is the score. It's hard to shake off. I'll tell you, that's a tough pressure on the shoulder in that guillotine.
Bellig came into the finals on a real tight decision over Dean Miller from Cedar Rapids, who was previously undefeated. So he also had to beat Danny Rafe Mason City the first round, who was one of the top-ranked wrestlers. So he's had a tough road to get there.
And we don't have a whole lot of time left to go in this match. But you see the timeout is being taken. We'll see how that happened, because you explain what this guillotine is here, Randy.
Well, he hooked the leg on one side to immobilize one side of the body, and by getting control underneath that arm, what he's trying to do is use that arm as a lever and pull him back over to expose his shoulders. But he's in a position where he can't turn away from it, and it's going against the shoulder joint and getting in a position that might be harmful or cause an injury, so the referee just stops it right there. He's kind of beyond the shoulder joint's capabilities.
We have a minute left to go in the third period.
There he's kind of beyond the shoulder joint's capabilities.
We have a minute left to go in the third period. Well, as a matter of fact, that was Bellig who was in the top position, even though he's behind 5-2.
Massey with an escape, stand up, comes right back in on a double leg drop, finishes by tightening up on the hips.
8-2.
Puts the legs in himself. He's up a little high right now, but he's trying to get both legs in, trying to flatten Bellig out. Walks away, rather than getting in trouble, he walks away, gives the 1-point escape to Bellig.
And it's 8-3. This is AAA at 132 pounds. Remember, we have another of the Randalls coming up next round, next weight class in the AA.
Massey shoots right in on a double leg drop. He's clear up high on the hips, and his hands aren't locked. Bellig spreads him out a little bit, counters.
He can get a crossface here. He might make something out of it. Didn't happen. So it's still 8-3 in favor of Massey, who just made it 10-3.
Bellig made a kind of half-hearted effort at a fireman's in there, and when he leaned back, Massey just toppled him back over while he's off balance.
And that's it. Lewis Central of Council Bluffs produces a winner at 132 pounds, Louis Massey, at 132. And there he is. Well, now we're going to have the awards again, this time for 126 pounds, and we'll begin with the single A division. And the man who will give the awards will be John Siegel of Morning Sun.
Sixth place, Dave Dunkel, Wyoming Midland. Fifth place, Joel Nelson, Corning. Fourth place, Tom Krieger, Maxwell. Third place, Rod Haas, Woodward Granger. Second place, Mike Davis, Mobile, Woodbury Central. And the 126-pound champion from Morning Sun, Earl Bryant.
Earl Bryant. Say hello to the fans of Iowa.
Another two-timer, second title in the last 2 years.
Coached, as we said, by John Siegel. He beat Mike Davis of Mobile and Woodbury Central in the championship match. Now, the 2A championships.
Sixth place, Jeff Brown, Centerville. Fifth place, Bob Vose, Cresco, Crestwood. Fourth place, Alan Bardsley, Tri-Center, Neola. Third place, Marty Anderson, Clarion. Second place, Marty Williams, Mount Vernon. And the 126-pound 2A champion from Jefferson, Eric Strong.
Who looks so strong in that AA championship match.
In the single A title race, Trayer North Tama County has moved ahead of Harris Lake Park, and if that last match with Risk beating Ehrenstorf has just helped them to switch places in the team title, has moved Trayer North Tama into 6th place.
Now at AAA,
Presenting the Class 3A awards, Coach
126.
Bob Looters of Clinton. 6th place, Jeff Walton, Waterloo West. 5th place, Keith Massey, Lewis Central, Council Bluffs. 4th place, Larry Schaefer, West Des Moines Valley. 3rd place, John Getz, Harlan. 2nd place, Mike Seymour, Bettendorf. And the 126 3A champion from Clinton, Perry Hughes.
Now, let's have a floor report from Dean Borg.
Doug, in the 132-pound single A match, Courtney Risk from North Tama, a senior in high school, a young man, as you see here on the bottom in the red uniform, who had never been to the state tournament before, finished out with his arms in the air, winning the state championship 6-4 in a decision over Todd Ehrenstorf of Harris Lake Park. That was a match that went 2-0 into the 3rd period, and then a lot of action in the 3rd period with a lot of reversals, and ended up with 2 back points for Courtney Risk, and he won it 6-4 and a state champion from North Tama. Here's another state champion, in fact, a 4-time state champion, Greg Randall of the Mount Vernon Mustangs. Greg, 4 times, how did you do it? I know, and I don't want you to say how you trained. I know that you're an extremely superstitious young man, as most wrestlers are. Tell us about that motel room that you take every time you're here.
Well, I got it my freshman year, and me and Paul Hufford stayed in it, so it worked. It worked once, so we might as well do it again.
Well, is that the way you? Is that to what you attribute your success, staying in the same motel room, or it takes a lot more than that, doesn't it?
Yeah, it takes a lot more than that.
Yeah, it sure does. Where are you going to school next year, Greg?
Well, we haven't decided yet. We're taking one thing at a time, and right now it's a state tournament, and after this is all over, and I think we'll start deciding.
Fine. And now you've got a brother who's going to wrestle in the next match. Let's go back to Doug and see how that comes out. Congratulations, Greg.
Thank you, Dean. Let's take a look at this 138-pound class, where we have another undefeated Mount Vernon wrestler, Greg Randall's brother, Steve. And he'll be in there with Scott Wilcox, who's trying to put some points on the board for this title contending team, Eagle Grove, now a 1/2 point behind in the team standings.
I'll tell you, I think you'll be impressed with Steve Randall. I guess I say that right after he got taken down. Single leg drop, switched off to a double. Wilcox takes him down for 2. He's got him flattened out pretty good.
There's the switch by Randall, and he's out for 1, so now it's a 1-point lead. But if you're going to beat the undefeated people, that's the only way you can do it, is take it to them. Now up in the corner, you see the 1A match. That's Craig Schwienebart of Conrad BCL against Royce Alger of Lisbon again. And also at 138 at AAA, we have Stuart Carter, undefeated from Waterloo, Columbus, against Todd Piper of Mason City. We'll tell you more about those as we proceed. And then again on the leg is Wilcox, leading 2-1. This time I think maybe Randall can counter it, but
he's in pretty deep and pretty low. And reaches over the top, lifts the leg, counters effectively. What I was going to say earlier is that Randall, Steve, is maybe not as fluent as Greg, but he makes up for it more than enough in being physical and strong. He is so explosive. When he goes offense, he scores points. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. And there's an example. Single leg drop, comes up around the waist, controls the hips, and gets a 2-point takedown.
And takes the lead for the first time, 3-2. Now he's got a 2-on-1 under there. Referee will make him do something with that.
Rides up real high, locks up a reverse cradle. Can't keep it locked.
Good move. Quick move by Wilcox, ties it at 3-3.
Nice little hip heist.
Let's go in here.
Down at the 1A mat, Schwienebart has taken a quick 4-1 lead over Alger of Lisbon. And it's 2-0 in favor of Carter of Columbus at AAA in the first period.
Red, you got to stay in here, Red.
3-3. We're almost at the end of the period. Randall may be able to score here just before the period ends. He does, with 4 seconds to go.
Wilcox made sort of a desperation low single on Randall, and Randall just snapped him down and spun around.
So now Randall leads 5-3, AA, 138 pounds.
He's off of his base, and he's got 2 or 3 points covered.
Seems to be a little officials.
He was off of his base, and he had 2 or 3 points under control, even though the leg is broken. The leg hook, though. You got to have that leg hook. I felt, no, not if the base is broken down, Coach.
A little controversy there over whether there was control for that takedown or not, even though Wilcox did have a hold of his leg. Randall had all 3 points covered, he saw 3 bases and had control.
5-3, Randall on the bottom is the leader here, starting the second period. And Wilcox has been able to control him. Now it's even. 6-3 with that point for Randall.
Randall working an underhook position in here. He's really physical. Wilcox has been pretty successful so far, shooting from the outside, getting underneath him and working those single leg drops, but Randall is a tough character to tie up with. Reaches in real deep at the hips with a single, moves up around the waist, but can't make it work.
Wilcox fought it off with an underhook. You see, Wilcox is much taller of the two. But Randall got to him easily.
Oh, he goes, doesn't he?
Yeah, he gets in there quick. He puts his shoulder right on the man's stomach.
Wilcox is in nice on a single leg drop, in at the hip. Randall's powers out of it, sprawls back. Probably end up in a stalemate here.
8-4.
Wilcox is going to have to keep shooting those low singles to give a run at him here, because when he lets Randall come after him, he's giving him points about half the time.
There's the coach of the year in AA this year, Marv Ryland. That's a warning against Wilcox for backing out. Ryland was a fine wrestler in his college days and now has had a successful coaching career.
Randall's in tight around the hips in there, locked up under underhook. Tries a little throw.
It didn't work.
And recovers. That was a close call right there.
He wanted a lateral drop or something and it didn't come off.
These Randall brothers aren't afraid to go for the extra points, taking a guy to a back, whether they put a little risk involved in it or not.
Well, one of the things about it is if you keep that kind of pressure up, you can physically wear the other man down. And it looked there as if Wilcox is not countering nearly as quickly. 10-4 now in favor of Randall at the end of the second period. There are the team standings. You see how close it is here between Emmetsburg and Eagle Grove. That's why it's so important for Wilcox to win for the Eagle Grove team. Emmetsburg still has 2 people coming. They have Steve Pico. We'll see him next. And then they have Doyle Naig up in the heavyweight division, hoping to put it away. (10-4), Randall leading. He has the bar arm on this side.
Oh, Wilcox tried to sit forward and get his hips out to the side, maybe a little switch, a little sit-out action, and Randall just crunched everything together and stacked him up, held him just long enough for a 2-point near fall.
Makes it 12-4.
He's driving that bar arm so tough in there. He's got it hooked on one side and the wrist from the far end from the other side, working back and forth on top of there. Wilcox is having a hard time even getting his base back. I think Randall is really wearing down on him. He's got a bar arm and a wrist ride right now, and although he does have to come off to the side to pin with that, he may get called for stalling if he doesn't.
You Lisbon fans who are worried about Royce Alger because he was behind 4-1 at the beginning can relax. He defeated Craig Schwienebart of Conrad BCL down at 1A. We'll tell you more about that in a little bit. And it's 2-2 in the 3A division between Carter and Piper with a minute to go. Well, as a matter of fact, I think with an overtime coming up, they're going to have an overtime over there. We may have a chance to see that. So stick around here. Steve Randall of Mount Vernon leads 12-4 with 34 seconds left to go. His brother, Greg, just won his 4th state title.
This will be the second one for Steve if he holds on to his 12-4 lead, which looks like he probably will. He's really dominating Wilcox right now. He's not giving him a chance to even wiggle, barring up the arms underneath and really putting the pressure on him.
Now he has Wilcox in a position for back, I think. Yes, 2 back points, 14-4.
That's the same little move he tried before, going forward, trying to elevate the back leg, maybe catch Randall, chasing him a little bit, but Randall just squeezed everything together and got some back points out of it.
At this point, Scott has nothing to lose. I see him trying to put Randall on his back from the other position. Randall's willing to fish in troubled waters.
He has a knack for coming out of crazy positions and always ending up with somebody on their back.
So it's Randall the winner here. That's the end of the match. It's 14-4. 14-4. And the AA division, a second championship for Steve Randall and a little setback for the Eagle Grove team title hopes. Now, let's take another look at the AAA match. That's the only one left, and we're in overtime here. There is no score in the overtime. Stuart Carter against Todd Piper. Stuart Carter on the left. In the green is from Waterloo, Columbus, undefeated this year. Todd Piper of Mason City is 14-6, but he's in there for the title tonight. It was 2-2 in regulation.
Piper's in on a single right now, right at the hip, but Carter's got him pretty well flattened out under there. He's going to make it tough for him to finish. A stalemate, and they put him back up on their feet.
Referee Don Crandall of Oskaloosa. Okay, first period is over. This is the second overtime we've covered tonight. Now let's, while we have this break here, take a look at the 3A team standings. You can see how Bettendorf is doing. They have been marvelous this year, 162.5 points. Powerhouse team. And Mason City, Clinton, Waterloo West, Dowling, and Fort Dodge. Dowling was not in the top 5, 6 until we got up here tonight.
They have one finalist in, the 145-pounder, coming up next in AAA.
Now you see Carter on top. Riding on top with no score. There were no points scored in the on the feet period. And this is Carter's ride.
Carter is in tight on the hips. They've come up to their feet, but he's in tight behind, kind of floating around there, trying to hook a leg in. Comes around front, gets off balance, and Piper turns it into a reversal.
I think if he wanted to had a thought about that one, he wouldn't have done it a second time.
I guess not. He got his hips too far away from Piper. I don't know if he was trying to do a front trip or maybe step in tight and control the hips, but he got his hips too far away and just lost his balance.
How about that? This is a youngster, Todd Piper, who has obviously had an improvement year. He's 14-6. So, you know, he had to, some of those wins had to come in tournaments. He was practically even going into the tournaments.
Well, I think Coach Jerry Ray, the AAA coach here, has really got his Mohawks fired up for this tournament. They've been wrestling just all guns this whole tournament.
You saw Dennis Gatz, the Waterloo Columbus coach.
He's got a front cradle on, just short of tilting far enough for the near fall points, and the hands broke.
End of the period. A little while ago was accomplished with a 2-0 score, and we're now 19 seconds into the last 1-minute overtime period. Piper leads. Did he get back points? He looked like he might even had a pin there for a second.
Looked pretty flat from where I was sitting.
He got 2 on the back. That makes it 4-0. Actually, the referee, sometimes you can't get into the position fast enough to see it.
It doesn't look like it's going to make much difference. Carter, I think that took the wind out of him. He's down on his belly right now. He's got his head down, and Piper's riding him pretty tough. Tries the same little elevator again. It still doesn't work. Piper just floating around those hips and switches his grip and comes back around to ride on top.
I'm sure there were times with the 6 losses on his record this year that Todd Piper had to tell himself, you can keep on coming, you can do it. You lose a few, but the tournaments are on to be here, and you can win it. And he just did.
Coach Jerry Ray had a look of surprise on his face. Boy, he couldn't be happier than have a kid that's not expected to win to come back out there and do a job like that.
Todd Piper of Mason City at 138. Now let's have the 132-pound awards, beginning with 1A.
Coach Jeff Selby of Traer, North Tama County. 6th place, Bob Taylor, Mason City, Newman. 5th place, Brian Piper, Stuart Menlo. 4th place, Keith Stout, Highland Riverside. 3rd place, Tom Corcoran, New London. 2nd place, Todd Ahrenstorff, Lake Park, Harris Lake Park. And the 132 1A champion, Courtney Risk, Traer, North Tama County.
Well, with Courtney's win, he switched places with his opponent's team, the team race.
Harris Lake Park.
Put North Tama ahead of Harris Lake Park by 2 points.
Still a lot of happiness down there, and there will be for quite a while. That's Todd Piper of Mason City, you see. Now the 2A champions at 132.
6th place, John Lockard, Johnston. 5th place, Kurt Schiedenhelm, Belle Plaine. 4th place, Paul Van Osbury, Emmitsburg.
We'll have a big cheer here in a
3rd
moment.
place, Kurt Mills, Denver. Runner-up, Doug Stumberg, Grundy Center. And the 2A 132-pound champion and only the 5th wrestler in history to win 4 consecutive state titles, Greg Randall, Mount Vernon.
The crowd's on their feet again. Greg Randall with an outstanding performance in the finals, not only winning, but winning and dominating his opponent to the point where there's just no question about him deserving his titles.
More than 12,000 people at Veterans Auditorium, all on their feet to congratulate that young man there. Attaboy, Greg. Four-time champion. Well, we still have the awards coming up here in the AAA division at 132 pounds.
6th place, Eric Wortman, Iowa City West. 5th place, Dean Miller, Cedar Rapids, Jefferson. 4th place, Johnny Scott, Waterloo East. 3rd place, Dan Ray, Mason City. 2nd place, John Bellig, Bettendorf. And the 132 3A champion from Lewis Central Council Bluffs, Louis Massey.
Second title for Louis. He had to wait 2 years in between to get the second one.
Worthwhile. Now, here's a floor report from Dean Borg.
Doug, that Lisbon powerhouse rolled again as Royce Elger, coming in here with a 30-2 record, is the new state champion at 138 pounds in Class A. He started slowly. He was behind 2-1 going into the second period, but then he piled up 6 points in each of the next 2 periods and decisioned Craig Schwienenbart of BCL at Conrad 13-7. So the champion at 138 Class A is Royce Elger of Lisbon. Doug?
And you saw the AA and AAA matches. Now we're going to 145. Remember, these middle 4 matches from 126 through 145 are all by the draw AA. And so here we are. This is the last of the AA starts. It's Dave Greenlee of Washington against Steve Pico of Emmitsburg. Now here we have an Emmitsburg young man who is on the team that now leads the AA division, and it's important every one of these matches with a contender in it. Steve Pico has a record of 26-2, and Dave Greenlee of Washington is 21-1. The referee will be Ralph Messerly of Fairfield.
Good luck, boys.
Both of these guys have qualified for the state tournament, but neither has placed yet. Pico qualified 2 years ago, and Washington is, or the young man from Washington has qualified for the last 2 years, and still neither has placed until this year.
It's interesting that in this division, AA 145, there's the 1A up in the corner. You see Kevin Schaefer against Kelly McGovern, another Lisbon wrestler, Schaefer, and Riceville's McGovern. We'll keep track of that. And then at AAA, we have John Hughes of Clinton against Mike Van Arsdale of West Waterloo. And that's another one for us to keep track of. Saw a quick move by Greenlee of Washington for 2, and I don't believe there were any back points. No. Well, seeing Greg Randall up there with the 4th title reminds me that was an escape making it 2-1. Seeing that yellow Emmetsburg uniform of the time we saw Jeff Kerber of Emmetsburg win a 4th title too. He's now really having an outstanding year at the University of Iowa.
Well, we don't want to talk about that though. Iowa State will come back, believe me, folks.
That's right, you're an old cycler, aren't you? Well, it's 2-1 here in favor of Greenlee. Takedown to an escape. I was going to say, in this 145-pound AA division, there were no returning champions back. It's unusual in a way. Nothing. No returning qualifiers.
Greenlee in on a single leg drop. Comes up to the hip, trips the backside, and looks real sharp. Another 2-point takedown. He got Pico tied up pretty good underneath there.
Well, as I was saying just now, for anybody who caught Randy's remark, Randy Nielsen was a Big 8 champion at Iowa State. And you still have a little rivalry with the old University of Iowa, huh? Guess you never get over that.
Well, I hope not.
Let's take another look here at that move. Pico gave it up, and Greenlee decked it.
Well, Greenlee was being real tight on sort of a bear hug and turned it into a little bit of a foot sweep, a little bit of a hip heist, and tossed him right to his back. That was that opening takedown. Pico riding way up high right now on the wrist, trying to pull the wrist out, trying to work for some back points. Gets a little too high. Greenlee's coming out the back door.
Careful those feet now.
Pico must really know where he feels real comfortable coming way out front like that. He's got the arm barred up.
We're potentially dangerous. I want somebody to get your arm hurt, boys.
Potentially dangerous. The Lisbon boy Schaefer leads 3-2 in the just at the beginning of the 2nd period at 1A, and it's 2-1 in favor of Van Arsdale of Waterloo, just beginning the 2nd period at AAA.
Pico's got a little stack on him there. There should have been some back points there. No. Referee says no control. You see more and more of those little side tilts like that. They sort of a tight waist and grab the hips and just reach over and pull your opponent down over to the side. And you can't really pin a guy from there, but you can stack up some near fall points, although he didn't get them on this occasion. Pico's way out in front, trying to work that bar arm. He's controlling the wrist and the elbow, trying to keep his head down, but Greenlee won't give it up.
Let's go. Let's do some moving.
4-1. The man on the bottom leads. Pico really tough with that bar from out front. Well, this time
it's too high again.
This time he didn't come back around.
He's still not done with it yet.
No, but he lost the escape. It's 4-2. I should say 5-1 because Greenlee was leading.
Pico needs some points before this period's out, and there's only 15 seconds left. He really needs to get back in the game here.
Wrestle, boys, wrestle.
Low shot. Pico sprawls.
We're at the end of the 2nd period, 5-1.
Good match, boys, so far.
Greenlee leads.
Red is up.
Emmetsburg going for a team championship. Would like to be able to pull this one out.
Bottom man set.
But Greenlee's been impressive.
Seems real physical. Seems like whenever there's a scramble type position, Greenlee's come out on top. Just like that.
Yep.
Pico tries a little switch. Can't seem to get his hips away from Greenlee. Greenlee really controls those hips and squeezes them pretty tight.
Look for that fall on top now.
Pretty tough on top.
Don't just hang in there. Look for the fall.
A minute and a half left. Greenlee of Washington. Well, he might get some back points out of this. You never know.
Pico is going to try to do a little near side roll, and Greenlee just slipped the arm out and let him go over the top.
You bet, you bet.
There's a minute left. He's got plenty of time to finish this up.
He has a three-point near fall for sure, and he's trying to make a stick out of this.
Well, it looks mighty close, doesn't it?
Pico still hasn't been able to get out of this situation.
Well, he can't seem to roll through because Greenlee's got the bottom leg tied up too, keeping him from turning his hips away.
Well, I think that situation is resolved. Three-point near fall.
Pico's back up on his feet, but not for long.
We're only 30 seconds away from the end.
Greenlee's got his head down, just hanging on in there. A little bit of an awkward position.
Well, here are the team standings here, remember, and this is Emmetsburg losing here, but leading in the team score by half a point over Eagle Grove. Neither of the two teams has been able to win a match yet in the championship finals. I take that back. I take that back. Eagle Grove did win one title and got up to 100 points.
Lots of control. Roll out.
8-4 with that escape. 8-2, I should say. This has been an impressive victory for Greenlee.
Ref away.
In on deep on a single. Greenlee's not too much concerned about it. He's in pretty good control right there. His hips are solid. And there's his championship.
A championship for Washington, Iowa. Dave Greenlee with his hand in the air. He defeated Steve Pico of Emmetsburg. The score was 8-2. And so Emmetsburg, putting away this team title, is going to have to wait. It's still undecided. Let's go down to 1A. This is Kevin Schaefer of Lisbon on top, and he is leading here 16-4 against undefeated Kelly McGovern of Riceville. The time remaining 15 seconds. Kevin Schaefer. As I always said, I grew up in the town next to Lisbon, and I always thought they were tough. We used to say that, and boy, they prove it over and over again these last few years.
There's just no doubt about it.
16-5, and that's just in time to see the winner. Another champion for Lisbon.
The first loss of the year for McGovern. Tough way to go down in the finals of state tournament.
How about that? Some are happy in one way, some are happy in another way. Kevin Schaefer falls down on the floor. It's been a long time coming for some of these young men, and they really work hard to get it. There's AAA. We're still alive here. Van Arsdale with 18 seconds to go of West Waterloo is on the bottom position, and Hughes, who has a cradle locked up, has 10 seconds to try to win this match and make something out of that cradle, and I'm not sure he can do it.
Well, the arm has slipped out there. He's based out pretty wide. It's going to be a tough one for him to turn. No good.
Didn't happen. Van Arsdale escaped damage in the cradle and won it by 1 point. Mike Van Arsdale, coached by Don Huff, defeats Clinton's John Hughes. The score was 4-3. And that's the 145-pound class. There he is, the winner. Now let's go see the winners get their awards at 138, 1A.
Sixth place, Chris Nelson, Minburn, Central Dallas. Fifth place, Tom Griffin, Lorenz Marathon. Fourth place, Kurt Salto, Riceville. Third place, Court Oviatt, Logan Magnolia. Second place, Craig Schweinbart, Conrad, BCL. And the 138 1A champion from Lisbon, Royce Dalger.
That'll put Lisbon up to about 124 points, so their closest competitor, Bondurant, is at 77. It's just phenomenal.
Their coach is Brad Smith. 138-pound winner, and you just saw Kevin Schaefer win at 145. So Brad Smith will be presenting awards again. Now, double A.
Sixth place, Dan Mark, Eddyville. Fifth place, Brad Hildebrandt, Griswold. Fourth place, Ty Seaman, Emmitsburg. Third place, Jeff Peden, Sigourney. Second place, Scott Wilcox, Eagle Grove. And the 2A 138-pound champion from Mount Vernon, Steve Randall.
Another Randall winner. That's the 6th state title in the last 4 years for the Randall brothers.
That's at 138 pounds. Everybody's a photographer. And a TV star, I guess, huh? Well, let's see. We have the Triple A's coming up at 138 pounds.
Fifth place, Scott Devaney, Muscatine. Fourth place, Randy Washam, Bettendorf. Third place, Jim Engler, West Des Moines, Dowling. Second place, Stuart Carter, Waterloo, Columbus. And the 3A 138-pound champion from Mason City, Todd Piper.
That had to be one of the major upsets of the finals up to this point,
Piper.
anyway.
You betcha. Now, here's Dean Borg.
Doug, another Lisbon winner, this time Kevin Schaefer, an 18-year-old senior from the Lisbon Lions over in eastern Iowa. He decisioned Kelly McGovern of Riceville 16-7, piling up points, especially in the second and third periods. Dick Trotter, how's it going with you?
145 pounds in the Class AAA competition. Mike Van Arsdale of West Waterloo ran all over John Hughes to become the state champion at 145. That's Mike Van Arsdale of Waterloo winning over John Hughes Clinton. Now the 132-pound state champion is with me right now, Louis Massey of Council Bluffs, or of Lewis Central Council Bluffs. Louis was first, then fourth, then second, and Louis, you got another first place tonight. How's it feel?
Reminds me of the first time I got first when I was a freshman.
Back when you almost forgot what it was like to win after the freshman there, didn't you?
Yeah, it's a great experience to get first. I don't know what to say.
Louis had a great finish tonight to come back to win his match over John Belleg of Bettendorf, and he won going away. Thanks very much, and back to you, Doug.
Thank you, gentlemen. Now, he was the winner at 132, Louis Massey. 155 is coming up, and from here on, through the heavyweight class, we'll take a look at the AAA matches, the big schools. And we have a barn burner, we think, for you right here at the start, 155 pounds. Chris Campana of West Des Moines Dowling against Ted Kamemo of Fort Dodge. A couple of strong boys here.
Well, this is a matchup that's been a long time coming. A real mix-up at this weight class. The #1 rated wrestler is Wendell Love from Central Waterloo, and he got put out.
Campana beat him.
By Campana. Campana wasn't rated before the final ratings. Kamemo rated #2 behind Love.
Now up in the corner, you see the 1A match. That's Jim Lee, Winthrop East Buchanan, against Mitch Hiscox of Britt. Lee is undefeated this year. And then at the AA, we'll have Jim Fry of Wilton against Chuck Martins of Crestwood of Cresco. We'll keep track of those for you and maybe have a chance to see maybe one or both of them later on as they proceed. Here at AAA, Chris Campana against Ted Kamemo. That's Campana from Dowling in the light uniform, Kamemo in the dark.
Two real physical wrestlers. Kamemo in underneath on a little Kelly situation and can't seem to finish up with it.
They've both been here before. Campana's qualified twice, never won or placed. Kamemo placed as a sophomore and didn't last year, although he did qualify.
I think they're just sort of pushing and feeling and seeing where they stand out there. Neither man really opening up. I wouldn't be surprised to see some stall warnings if they don't.
The referee is Bob McNeil of Cedar Rapids. And he is wearing a microphone, so we'll be able to listen to what he has to say. Campana had the head and arm control from the front. That's not good enough for McNeil.
Campana trying to work that low fireman's carry to one side, and his 2 or 3 attempts still can't make it work. He's back in under the Kelly situation again and still can't finish up on, or Kamemo can't finish up on Campana. Campana trying to come around to the outside, maybe working a little shrug or a shuck by here, but neither man really opening up.
We want to review what happened with 145 pounds. You may have been a little confused by the numbers on the screen. Kevin Schaefer of Lisbon beat Kelly McGovern of Riceville 16-8 at single A, and at triple A, Mike Van Arsdale of West Waterloo defeated John Hughes of Clinton 4-3.
In the second period, with Campana on top, Kamemo trying a little sit-out position here, and Campana still underneath both arms.
In double A, Chuck Martins of Crestwood just got some back points on undefeated Jim Fry and now leads 6-2. And down at single A, it's 1-0 in favor of Jim Lee of Winthrop halfway through the second period.
There's an escape by Kamemo. They're back up on their feet. Another attempt at a fireman's carry. Can't quite reach the leg. A lot of pushing and shoving out there. Not a lot of action.
1-0 Kamemo.
Sometimes you see two really super athletes like that so evenly matched that it's tough for either one of them to get their offense going. Kamemo in underneath in Kelly position, comes around, changes to a single.
Campana's got a pretty good whizzer, but it wasn't good enough.
Well, Kamemo is really strong. He had those hips so tight that I think Campana was worried he may hang on to it and go right into a pinhole, so he gave up the two-pointer.
3-0 in favor of Ted Kamemo.
Let's move back to center.
There is Kamemo. Boy, that double A
Scores over there, son.
team title is still up for grabs because there's a half-a-point difference. Emmetsburg 100 and a half to Eagle Grove's 100, and each team has one man left to wrestle.
Eagle Grove 167-pounder Troy Johnson is still yet to come for them, and Emmetsburg's Darrell Naig.
Kamemo. Got 2 back points out of that situation and racks up a 5-0 lead over Campana.
Riding that wrist, controlling the hips. Kamemo is pretty tough on top.
We're at the end of the second period. Don Miller coaching at Fort Dodge, and if you have watched our college wrestling series on IPBN throughout the year, you sometimes see Don as an official, referee the college matches.
Really knows his wrestling. He's got a good program there in Fort Dodge. There Campana tries a Granby roll, and Kamemo just slips the arm on him, lets him float by, and comes right up behind him. Campana looks like he's working in that Granby position, but Kamemo's taken away from him by moving that elbow forward and controlling the wrist. Can't seem to get anything started.
Ted Kamemo. These are both seniors. We have a 1-0 match down at the 1A class. Jim Lee of Winthrop leads by that much over Hiscox of Britt.
Martins from Cresco is up over 5 from Wilton, 9-2 in the AA. That's in the third period.
And you see Kamemo controlling Campana rather well. He leads 5-0 with a minute left. That's Bob Dara.
His assistant coach, Blassingame, Jim Blassingame, former UNI wrestler. Campana trying to get some hand control so that he can loosen things up there a little bit, but Kamemo won't give it up. Granby again, and Kamemo lets one arm float through and comes right up behind him again. He's really taken the reversals and escapes away from Campana. He's really controlling him.
He has 30 seconds to go, working hard in there. He senses a championship, I think. That's what his season and what his high school career has come to. 30 seconds of effort left. Those people are from Dowling, and they have the long faces. That clock in the back is the time clock for this match.
Campana gets a whizzer in. Kamemo comes back controlling the hips. Still no slack in there. He is tight as he can be. Driving a half and holding an ankle. Kind of a conservative pinhold, trying not to get too far out in front.
5 seconds. Well, it looks like Fort Dodge gets a champion. Ted Kamemo. He lost twice this year. He lost not at all in the tournaments. He's the only 155-pounder in AAA, unscathed all the way through here at Betts Auditorium. He's the winner, goes over to Coach Don Miller. He beat Chris Campana 5-0 in the championship. Well, we're all the way through the 155-pound class. We'll tell you about those in our floor reports. Let's have the awards at 145 pounds, beginning with 1A.
45-pound awards, Class 1A, Coach Brad Smith of Lisbon. 6th place, Dale Harris, Dallas Center Grimes. 5th place, Dirk Cowan, Lorenz. 4th place, Craig Hartwig, Rockwell City. 3rd place, Dwayne Woodruff, Bondurant Farrar. 2nd place, Kelly McGovern, Riceville. And the 1A 145-pound champion from Lisbon, Kevin Schaefer.
Kevin Schaefer. Seen a lot of Lisbon people up on that top step here tonight.
The 4th champion out of 5. That's not too bad.
Lisbon cheerleaders got a lot of good pictures of those cameras. Now AA.
6th place, Tom Kalupek, Grinnell. 5th place, Tony Bales, Glenwood. 4th place, Kent Barons, Atlantic. 3rd place, Ed Newsel, Iowa City, Regina. 2nd place, Steve Pico, Emmetsburg. And the 2A champion at 145 from Washington, Dave Greenlee.
And with that win, he has kept that 2A title tight with only a half-point lead. Emmetsburg not being able to score again there in the finals, still only a half-point ahead of Eagle Grove, with the Eagle Grove 67-pounder coming up ready to score some more.
That's the AA. And next, we're going to see the winners in the 145-pound class in AAA.
Presenting the Class 3A awards, Coach Don Huff of West Waterloo. 6th place, Steve Anderson, Mason City. 5th place, Kevin Lund, Fort Dodge. 4th place, Brian Hampton, Davenport Central. 3rd place, Jim Fox, Marshalltown. 2nd place, John Hughes, Clinton. And the 3A 145-pound champion from Waterloo West, Mike Van Arsdale.
Mike Van Arsdale, the picture of a winner. All right, here's a floor report from Dean Borg.
The new champion at 155 in Class A is Jim Lee of East Buchanan, decisioning Mitch Hiscox of Britt 4-0. Jim Lee was 4th at 155 in 1981. He moved on to be champion this year. In this match, a 1-point escape was the only point that was scored until the final seconds of the third period, where when Hiscox, trying to get loose, got himself into a predicament in a 3-point near fall, and Lee scored 4-0 decision over Hiscox. How did it go with you, Dick?
All right, at 155-pound in AA competition, Chuck Martins of Cresco Crestwood won there handily 9-2 over Jim Fry of Wilton. Fry was unbeaten all year, going into the season 30 wins and no losses, but there you see a delighted young man from Cresco of Crestwood, Chuck Martins, 6th last year, 1st in 1982. Now back to you, Doug.
Thank you, gentlemen. Before we go to 167, we want to tell you that this 2A team match is still up in the air, and we'll keep track of that because Troy Johnston of Eagle Grove is going to be on the AA mat, and it will be affecting the championship here, because if Eagle Grove's Johnston wins, Eagle Grove will take the lead for the first time. This is AAA. Jim Sturdivant of Fort Dodge against J.D. Looters of Clinton, who I assume is the son of the coach. Referee is Larry Blaker of Perry. The 1A match, as you see up in the corner, we'll also be telling you about, is between Eric Berkmeyer of Bondurant Farrar, undefeated, and Mark Tyndall of Green. The AA, as we said, is Mike Oakes of Jefferson against undefeated Troy Johnston of title-contending Eagle Grove. Here we are, AAA, and you see Fort Dodge's Sturdivant trying for the first takedown here.
Looters came into this final match by virtue of a 7-6 victory over a Dowling kid named Myers, and scored 6 points in the last 30-40 seconds of the match to do so. So he can go and explode at any time.
They're both in red. The man with the white knee pads is the Clinton wrestler. Looters. The black stripe on the side is Fort Dodge. You saw Ted Kamemo wearing that same uniform when he won 155 with that same colors, the Fort Dodge uniforms. More than 12,000 people are here tonight in Veterans Auditorium for the 62nd State Wrestling Championships of Iowa.
Sturdivant was 5th last year in this tournament. He's really anxious to place. His teammate just placing Kamemo ahead of him here. He wants to add another one to Donnie Miller's Fort Dodge Dodgers.
Now, between periods here, we're going to give you a chance to see the top 6 teams in the standings in 1A. So if you're interested in how Durant racking up in there, and Riceville and Lisbon, you'll get a chance here in a second. No score here yet.
A warning to Sturdivant from tying up on the head without making an attempt for a takedown. I wonder somewhat as to who's tying up who.
There is the first period. Now, you see the standings. Lisbon has made a romp of it. 4 champions already. Bondurant Farrar. Durant has now put a little daylight between themselves and Riceville. Manley of North Central over Traer of North Tama for 5th. Now 2A, that one is the one we're still in doubt about. Eagle Grove can take the lead with a win here at 167. Their man is winning, by the way, right now. And here we go back to AAA. There's no score, second period, and Sturdivant starts on top. Sturdivant of Fort Dodge. Looters of Clinton on the bottom.
Sturdivant right in the far wrist. Let go of it now, and Looters trying to work from a sit-out position, trying to get some back pressure in there to keep, grabs the head, changes off into a little switch. Should be 1-point escape.
There's the presentation of the point by referee Larry Blaker of Perry.
Looters in there tight around the hips, locks him up. Can't quite bring him to the mat.
And no points.
There's a slick little sit through there, reached like he was going to grab a single to one side, stuck his head out on the other side and locked up the hips. Didn't quite make it work, though.
As we said earlier, Troy Johnston of Eagle Grove leads at his championship match going on the AA mat, 2-1. It's anybody's match there between Johnston and Oaks of Jefferson.
In the 1A match, Tyndall is leading 2-0 from Green.
With a minute left in the first period. Here comes Luters around. First takedown, not quite yet. 30 seconds to get it.
The ankle is hooked, and if he puts a crossface in there, it should be a takedown.
He hasn't done it, though.
If he gets the leg hooked in there, it should be a takedown. It's got the figure fours in. That should be 2 points. Ed.
Should be. There it is.
Even though Sturtevant still had his arm on the leg.
And now it's a cradle, and here's trouble for Luters, for Sturtevant.
He's going to get his 3, and the period's out. And that's what you call hanging on to a dead horse there. He hung on so long trying to prevent the takedown that by the time he gave the takedown, it was too late for him to block the near fall.
Mason City is now in second place, very comfortable. But Bettendorf has won 3A, as you can see. It's a big win. West Waterloo is up close to Clinton, and Clinton has a man going right here and leading 6-0. J.D. Luters has looked very good. He had a big last 30 seconds.
Well, he's been kind of the upset man lately. He beat the Bettendorf kid in the districts that had been rated #1 all year and had a close match the other night to get into the finals, and he's hot. And turning the man over on his back and pinning, that's what's got him the scores that he's attained so far.
As a matter of fact, Jim Sturtevant of Fort Dodge beat that same Bettendorf wrestler in the semifinals.
Yeah, in the 2A, Johnson is ahead 9-3. Johnson from Eagle Grove over Oaks from Jefferson. He's dominating the match here. It's just finishing out the second period.
And Tyndall of Green leads 2-0 over Brickmeyer of Bondurant Farrar at single A.
Well, back up on their feet, tied up head to head. I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, Sturtevant, little attempt at a fireman's, no good. Probably come back up on their feet if there's not a score real quick here. Either man able to improve his position.
57 seconds are left in the whole shooting match here. That's Don Miller. His young man Sturtevant is behind by 5.
Sturtevant shoot a little far arm, near arm, far leg, and change to a single and trip through, but Luters has got a good solid whizzer in there, and it's not going to give up the 2 points. There's a limp arm, comes back out to a single again, and still no points. It's got the hips locked up tight, though.
Nothing yet.
He keeps it in bounds.
Yes. Takedown.
Takedown for 2. The knees must have come down just inside the boundary.
Sturtevant had to keep his supporting parts inbounds, and he did. Now a 3-point match, but the time is a problem here. Only 21 seconds are left for Sturtevant, the man on top, to pick him up. He's going to have to find some way to put Luters on his back.
Made a sort of a feeble attempt at a front cradle there, and they've come right back up to their feet. He's wasting time in there now. Lets him go. Probably going to have to work for a throw here.
Makes it 7-3.
Shot underneath, no good.
And the champion comes from Clinton. It's J.D. Luters. How about that? That's a happy situation for the Luters family, and Bob Luters is the coach of this Clinton team. How about that?
That may help Clinton jump back up there in those team titles. They certainly won't take over first place, but it might put them a little bit closer to Mason City.
How about that?
That may help Clinton jump back up there in those team titles. They certainly won't take over first place, but it might put them a little bit closer to Mason City. That'll put them up to 95.5 points.
And you just saw the last couple of seconds at AA. And with a victory there, Troy Johnston, who is in the blue and yellow on the left as you see them now, just having his arm put up in victory, has brought his team, Eagle Grove, into first place in the AA division. And it's all up to the Emmetsburg heavyweights. Doyle Nagel will be coming up here shortly, and whether he wins or loses makes the difference whether Emmetsburg wins or loses. Now here we are at 1A. 167. This one's still going.
Tyndall from Green and Berkmeyer from Bondurant Farrar. Berkmeyer comes around on top for a two-pointer.
And that put him ahead 3-2 right at the end, and that won it at the very last second. Something to remember, huh? I'll tell your grandchildren about that. How you came around with nothing left on the clock to win. Let's see it again here. Let's look again.
Tyndall made a shot underneath and he just slipped the arm and came around behind, little spin. Excellent move. Time runs out.
And so he stays undefeated and is the champion. Let's have the 155 awards at 1A.
English Valleys. 5th place, Joe Copriva, Traer, North Tama. 4th place, John Hadachek, Dysart, Geneseo. 3rd place, Jeff Byer, Pleasantville. 2nd place, Mitch Hiscox, Britt. And the 155 1A champion from East Buchanan, Jim Lee.
One of several East Buchanan wrestlers down there. They sure made an impact this year in bringing, I think, 5 people into the tournament. An excellent showing by East Buchanan.
David Steinkamp is the coach at East Buchanan. Winthrop. Now we have the AA top 6 going on the stand.
Presenting the 2A awards, Coach James Sovereign of Cresco Crestwood. 6th place, Ben Doherty, Norwalk. 5th place, Barry Kittleson, Ansgar. 4th place, Mike Greiner, Sigourney. 3rd place, Mike Johnson, Eagle Grove. 2nd place, Jim Fry, Wilton. And the 155 2A champion from Cresco Crestwood, Chuck Martins.
He's by no means the first champion that Cresco ever had.
And may not be the last since he's got another year left. He's an underclassman.
Chuck Martins. And that leaves us with the AAA winners at 155 pounds. You saw the championship match just a few minutes ago.
Presenting the Class 3A awards, Coach Don Miller of Fort Dodge. 6th place, Thad Collins, Iowa City West. 5th place, Bill Phillips, Mason City. 4th place, Ray Burden, Waterloo West. 3rd place, Wendell Love, Waterloo Central. 2nd place, Chris Campana, West Des Moines Dowling. And the 155 3A champion from Fort Dodge, Ted Camamo.
Ted Camamo. Let's get some floor reports here, starting with Dean Borg.
Doug, the old adage, never give up, was never more true in at 167 in Class A, as Eric Birchmere, who had trailed 2-0 through the entire match, in the final 10 seconds got an escape and a takedown in the final 10 seconds. You see the despair by Mark Tyndall of Green, who had led all the way. There you see Eric Birchmere, who had trailed all the way, had come into this championship match undefeated this year, and finally in the last 10 seconds decisioned Mark Tyndall of Green 3-2. Eric Birchmere of Bondurant Farrar is the new champion at 167 Class A. Dick Trotter.
167-pound division, Class 2A. Young Troy Johnston of Eagle Grove gave a very fine lesson in wrestling to Mike Oakes of Jefferson, Iowa. Troy Johnson came away the winner 13-5 as he amassed about 5 takedowns en route to that victory to become the 1982 67-pound 2A state champion, Troy Johnson of Eagle Grove. And there you see a mighty happy lad. Now back to you, Doug.
Well, he might be happy because he put his team ahead in the team score there. They are now 104.5. Emmetsburg has 100.5. And that Eagle Grove score was helped by his superior decision, by his major decision. And now a plain decision by Emmetsburg's heavyweight would tie it. We could have a tie meet here. Now we're going to 185, and we're still covering AAA, remember. We'll show you the other mats in just a moment, but here we have Brian McCracken of Bettendorf, 2 black uniforms you might notice here, and Steve Metzger of Ames. McCracken is 25-5. He is on the right, and Metzger of Ames is now on the right. They're more trim, actually, in that Ames uniform. You see Ames across the front. He has, Metzger has the tape knees.
Coming into the finals, I think probably the matchup at this weight class that everyone was waiting for was Stratton from Muscatine, was 67-pound champion last year. He and
now you see the 1A up in the corner here, Randy. Greg Hasselbrook of Bondurant Farrar against Phil Roke of Durant. And then at AA, we'll have the Waukon representative here, Todd Snitker, against Raleigh Kane of Wapsie Valley Fairbank.
Yeah, as I was saying, they had a real free-for-all with Stratton and McCracken in the semifinals, a real wild match. It ended up 12-7 in McCracken's favor, but on the virtue of a 5-point move in the last 30 seconds.
Well, Metzger has only lost once this year, and as I recall, that was to Stratton.
Stratton is a tough cookie, but I guess McCracken found his number. Well, Metzger has had some real controversial matches so far in the tournament. In his quarterfinal match, he was knocked unconscious on his feet, walked back towards the center of the mat, not knowing where he was, and was taken down from behind by the Dowling kid. And when they woke him up, they took the takedown points away from the Dowling kid, and Metzger came out and threw him for 4.
That's 2 for Metzger right there.
In his semifinal match, the controversy doesn't end. He finished a throw on his opponent and knocked him out, and they recorded the fall before the kid woke up.
So it worked both ways.
They slapped him out and then realized he was knocked out, and took him 5 minutes to wake up.
There's Steve Metzger. Let's see what happened here. I think I had the wrong man.
McCracken
yes,
on the takedown.
It was McCracken takedown. So I say they're both wearing black here.
McCracken arm drag out to the far side there and reached up the back and just bulldogged him down to the mat. McCracken riding the wrist right now. He's got Metzger broken down and under control.
He's part of this Crackerjack Bettendorf team, which has made a shambles of the AAA race.
There's no score yet in the single-A match. Hasselbrook and Rolfe from Durant are tied up 0-0.
Now we have a 2-0. We have a timeout here, apparently for an injury. I believe it may be a nosebleed for McCracken. McCracken is being tended there.
He spent, I think the match between he and Stratton must have lasted about 45 minutes because they spent half the time fixing McCracken's nose there too.
Well, we want to remind you too that while we have a moment here about that big coverage of the Big 8 Wrestling Championships, which are being held this weekend in Lincoln, Nebraska. The finals are actually tomorrow, and we'll carry them on Wednesday night at 10:30 in a tape replay, which was made possible by the Nebraska Educational Television Network.
Caution underneath. No. Caution above.
Caution on McCracken for moving too quickly.
I'm sorry about that. You won't take it, man. I'm top, man.
2-0 McCracken. Time 2 minutes because we're just starting the second period.
4-point stand up. McCracken locks up on the hips, turns him right back to the mat. McCracken has, I think his record is, he only has 2 losses. They have down here 5. I believe there's only 2. His losses both came at the hands of Belts from Davenport, who is the man that Metzger beat first round of the tournament. So I imagine that would make McCracken just a little bit leery about Metzger.
McCracken has a cradle locked up. Trying to stay in bounds with it. Naturally, Metzger wants to get out of bounds and does.
In the 1A match, Hasselbrook and Roke are still 0-0.
And Kane leads Snitker. Kane of Wapsie Valley leads Snitker of Waukon 5-0 at 2A.
This is a
successful coach there, Frank Freeman. I'll tell you, this Bettendorf has been so strong the last few years.
They didn't have a single weak weight in this tournament. They won 10 matches in the opening round of the tournament. It was just, in this AAA competition, it's almost hard to fathom.
2-0, McCracken in control.
You can see here that Metzger is not as tall or not as thick as McCracken. He looks like a real light 185-pounder, possibly even could have made 67.
Yes, as a matter of fact, that was his weight last year, and he elected to stay up where he didn't have to cut so much.
Well, consequently, I think he's getting overpowered a little bit by McCracken. McCracken riding him, and most of the tight situations, he's just crunching down on him and keeping him from getting out. Trying to work that front cradle there.
McCracken is the defending champion at this weight. We're going to take another look here at that front cradle that almost, but not quite, worked for fall points.
McCracken's sort of baiting him into doing an inside stand-up, and as soon as that knee comes up, he's reaching right around for a front cradle. He's riding off to one side here, trying to work some cradles. Gets a far cradle mixed up. He's got it locked up. It's a tough place to turn him from right there, though. He may get it to go.
He's very strong, and he's done it.
Probably enough for 2.
It is 2 back points for McCracken. Ames has sent 2 men into the championships. Jeff Gibbons was in at 105 and was defeated. It's the first Gibbons to lose in a state championship match, I think, ever, that I can remember.
I believe you're right. I think it's time to fix McCracken's nose again.
There you saw the near fall situation.
Reverse cradle brought him over, and as soon as Metzger hit his back, he exploded out with his legs and broke the lock, but not in time to save the near fall.
And again, it's nosebleed time. McCracken goes out and gets some points and then goes over and gets it taken care of. The 1A match apparently has ended in a fall for Relk of Durant. We haven't got the official word on that yet, but
went most of the way through the match without any score, and then all of a sudden it's over.
And we'll see something about that very shortly. In the AA match, it's 7-2 there in favor of Kane of Wapsie Valley. 7-3.
Metzger's just having a heck of a time trying to finish up on McCracken. He's getting about halfway out, and McCracken's crunching him back down with cradles to either side. And Metzger trying a little elevator there, a little roll through, and a scramble.
Now Metzger's trying to come out. He's got, well, he might have had 1 if he
wants 2, and he takes 2. Oh, stepped out of bounds. That was close.
Yeah, it really was. 4-1. Here's a talk with the 2 officials.
There must have been 3 supporting parts out of bounds while they're on their feet. With McCracken all the way out, and Metzger stepped 1 foot out, and that constitutes out of bounds. But he did get the escape. There was a loss of control there.
4 seconds to go in the period. McCracken took the shot. The referee here is Dick Colson of Davenport. And Flegg is his assistant. Let's see a replay of that pin over at 1A. Rolk of Durant.
He's got a real deep half Nelson in and arm down between the legs to block him from rolling through, and just eases him down, squeezes it. It's a fall.
Bang.
He had it really tight.
That's at 1A. Now we're back at AAA again. Scores 4-1, just starting the 3rd period, and this is Metzger's first time on top.
Metzger has got the far wrist, and McCracken broke him down. Now he's got the near wrist and back. Metzger is down 4-1. He needs some points this third period. He's going to have to turn him over or let him up and go takedowns.
Let's keep wrestling on men.
Not a lot of action right now from either man. Metzger kind of half-heartedly reaching for a half Nelson, and McCracken's just laying there.
And as a matter of fact, McCracken was just warned for inactivity. He's managed to get to his feet now. Metzger took him back to the mat. Minute left, but McCracken leads by 3.
Rotary breakdown, can't break him down. He's trying to put a little head lever on there.
Well, if Metzger lets him go, it's a 4-point lead then for McCracken.
He'd have to take him down 4 times, let him take him down, or try to take him to his back. Metzger's a pretty good thrower, though. He may opt to try and.
No, there's a point against McCracken. It's 2 points now for Metzger. That was for stalling.
35 seconds. This is a tough decision right here, whether he wants to try and stay on top. And it's a matter of he's going to have to take him to his back, or whether he's better at it from the feet or from the knees.
I think the coaches told him to try to get a cradle or something, because the indication was to stay with him.
McCracken will sit out, pops out through, back up to his feet for 1. Now he doesn't have any choice, I guess.
5-2. It's McCracken with 20 seconds to go at 185 pounds AAA.
Metzger needs a throw here. He needs to get some big points all at once. He's trying to stay tied up on top. He's got a front hand chancery on. Putting pressure down there. McCracken slips it and comes out to the side.
And he got the takedown at the end and repeats as the 185-pound AAA champion. Brian McCracken of Bettendorf, 7-2 over again Steve Metzger of Ames, who, as you say, looked like a light 185 pounds. There he is. Now we'll have the winners for you at 167 pounds, beginning with the Class 1A.
167-pound 1A awards, Coach Ken Essling and Bondurant Farrar. 6th place, Paul Gordon, Pleasantville.
You're welcome.
5th place, Dave Bartell, Norris Springs, Rock Falls. 4th place, Rob Finley, Marengo, Iowa Valley. 3rd place, Jeff Hively, Lake Park, Harris Lake Park. 2nd place, Mark Tyndall, Green. And the 167 1A champion from Bondurant Farrar, Eric Birchmeyer.
Yes, as Dean Borg told you, he did it by coming from behind in the last 10 seconds. Some of the many, many cheerleaders. You see more cheerleaders at a wrestling state tournament than you do anywhere else. There are lots of them here.
6th place,
There's so
Todd
many schools
Wanninger,
represented.
Audubon. 5th place, Darwin Airy, DeWitt Central. 4th place, Dan Costigan, Jackson Junction, Turkey Valley. 3rd place, Bruce Hamill, Decorah. 2nd place, Mike Oakes, Jefferson. And the 167 2A champion from Eagle Grove, Troy Johnston.
He's the young man who just put his Eagle Grove team ahead in the AA race for the title. A race you'll see settled in just a moment when Doyle Naig of Emmetsburg wrestles at heavyweight to try to get the 4-point difference back.
He needs to win to tie and either get a fall or score
major decision
to win that state title.
Here's
5th place, Dave Free, Mason City. 4th place, Bob Picciotti, Bettendorf. 3rd place, Pat Meyer, West Des Moines, Dowling. 2nd place, Jim Sturdivant, Fort Dodge. And the 167 3A champion from Clinton, J.D. Luders.
There's J.D. Luders, the champion. Here's a floor report from Dean Borg.
At 185 pounds in Class A, Phil Rolk of Durant scored a fall at 5 minutes and 1 second into the match. pinning Craig Hasselbrock of Bondurant-Farrar. That match was scoreless until the final seconds of the second period. Third period, lots of action, culminating with 59 seconds remaining in that third period, and Phil Rolk pinning Craig Hasselbrock. So Phil Rolk of Durant, the new champion at 185 in Class A. Dick Trotter, what happened in Double A?
Class 2A, Raleigh Kane of Wapsie Valley Fairbank really showed complete control to win over Todd Snitker of Waukon 7-3. Raleigh Kane thus becomes a two-time winner in the state classic. He won it last year at 167 pounds, now wins it at 180 pounds. That's Raleigh Kane, Wapsie Valley Fairbank, your new state champion at 185 in 2A. Doug?
We want to show you some team standings here in the Double A. Now you see Eagle Grove is up by 4. Emmetsburg has 1 wrestler left. Eagle Grove has none. And if the Emmetsburg heavyweight should win, Doyle Naig, just win a common decision, it would be a tie team score. But he'll be going out there for extra points in a fall to try to put Emmetsburg out in front and win the team championship. We're at the heavyweight division now in AAA. Remember, we're following the AAAs up through here. We have Todd Ensminger of Burlington against Todd Krieger of Mason City. And up in the corner, you see the 1A match, which we'll also follow. Brian Dahl of Manly North Central against Myron Kepi of Durant. And then the big one for the 2A title, Doyle Naig of Emmetsburg in the yellow against John Vries of Forest City. This is our principal one. Todd Ensminger of Burlington in the blue against Todd Krieger of Mason City. You saw his brother win a championship earlier.
I'll tell you, Krieger came up the tough side of the bracket in this tournament. There were 4 top heavyweight seeds on his side, and they were all, including Dros Treminiola, who was the first seed, and they were all beaten and left along the way.
White Spangler of DeWitt is the referee here at AAA, and you see
nice
Krieger has Ensminger on his back and pinned
over.
Well, how about that? You know what that's going to do, too? It's going to give us a chance to see that Emmetsburg boy go for a team title.
And I think he just got a fall. No, they must have gone off the mat.
Well, the winner here at AAA is Todd Krieger of Mason City.
Krieger had a beautiful headlock there. Beautifully timed. They're pushing and shoving in here. Turned and hipped into him. Landed him flat, and it is tight. He's not going to go anywhere. He's 6 inches from the outside boundary and still can't move. That's tight.
The winner is Krieger. Well, I'll tell you, the
Mason City's
Krieger boys have done very well. Now let's go to Double A, where we're going to see Naig of Emmetsburg against Vries. The score is 3-0. Should be 3-1 because there was an escape in there.
Naig came out in front going for that fall. He almost had it locked up.
We want to point out to you, too, that this is a heavyweight division, but these are not the real big boys. There is a super heavyweight division yet to come.
These guys are between 175 and 235 pounds. Anything over that is a super heavyweight.
Doyle Naig, 29-1 this year. John Vries, 22 wins, 3 losses, and 1 draw.
And I wonder if these two haven't met up during the year. Forest City and Emmetsburg, pretty close. Nice hip toss.
Oh, who's going to come out of this one?
No points given yet. Rolls through again. That's a lot of weight to be flip-flopping around out there. Doyle Naig stepped in with a hip toss, and Vries rolled through right away, and Naig came back and rolled through again.
Naig lets him go. It's 3-2 now. Naig leading. Naig in the yellow, the light uniform. If you're
5-2.
It's 5-2. If you're watching on black and white, Emmetsburg's Naig has the light uniform.
I think Naig feels more confident on trying to score his fall points from the feet rather than down on the mat. I think he's having trouble turning him from just a riding position.
A warning goes against Vries. Now it's very important here. A win for Naig gives Emmetsburg a share of the title with Eagle Grove. But Naig wants to win by at least 8 points. And that makes Emmetsburg. Let's listen in here. Well, there's not much we can do because this isn't the match our referee has a microphone on.
I think it's a matter of whether there was the first or second warning. I think that there wasn't a warning earlier.
No, I think it's a matter of whether it should be 3-2 or 5-2. And it's 3-2.
I don't know how that could be. There had to be 2 takedowns. Unless they called that whole roll through and no, because they gave an escape. There has to be 5.
Well, anyway, it's 3-2 on the board.
I think they're going to get that corrected before it's over, I would imagine.
We have 48 seconds to go. Here is Naig trying a double underhook throw, but he got a takedown out of it.
He recovered nicely.
Now it says 5-2.
Lets him come back up. I really don't know how that came about.
Now it says 5-3.
Intentional escape there.
Yes.
I can't imagine that, but they flip-flopped and rolled through there 2 or 3 times. Maybe no points were scored there. Snap down,
nice
spin.
snap. That makes it 7-3, and we still have a period to go.
Naig will probably try to hold on to him here and maybe go for those extra points instead of a fall. Might be a escape, though.
That makes it 7-4 at the end of the second period. So it's a 3-point lead for Naig. He needs 5 more.
Well, that was a mistake on Naig's part right there. He needed, with 14 seconds to go, he should have either let him up and pushed him away and gone right back under or held him down. And he just kind of hung in between there and ended up giving up an escape without getting back any takedown points.
There's Doyle Naig. He started on the bottom, and Vries has got him back in the disadvantaged position.
A little stand up there, and just as he turned back to face him, Vries came back in right at the ankles.
It's absolutely essential to Emmetsburg for Naig to get out. He is out. Now it's 8-4.
Should
be 8-4.
Naig in those underhooks position. He's got a good little foot sweep and a nice hip toss.
Oh. There it's 10-4.
10-4, a 6-point decision. If he can advance that 2 more points and win by at least 8 points, that'll do the same as a fall for team title is concerned.
That would make Emmetsburg the winner. Now it's an automatic.
10-5. A takedown here will make it 7 points.
An intentional release. And there's a minute left.
Naig tries his little foot sweep. He's got the underhook in there. Vries is backing out on him.
Vries of Forest City in the red. Naig of Emmetsburg in the yellow, trying to bring a state championship to his team.
Underhooking. Vries is locking up over the top, maybe for a body lock. Naig steps back into the hip toss.
And
he's taken him to his back. And he's pinned.
And Emmetsburg wins the AA championship.
Now that's an exciting way to end a tournament right there. But if they don't get their cheerleaders off the mat, they could take a team point away.
Somewhere in that mass of thrilled happiness is the Emmetsburg heavyweight, Doyle Naig, who just racked up the championship for himself and for his team. That was let's see that in a slow motion. Himself and for his team. That was let's see that in a slow motion here.
Naig hip tossed him in, got the hips right up over the top. He's got it locked tight, one arm locked up. He just pushes him right in, and it's too tight to even roll through. It's all over. Beautiful throw.
And they all know that he has just made the difference. Put Emmetsburg back in the lead again over Eagle Grove and back in the lead to stay. That's the Emmetsburg crowd. It's not the first state title that Emmetsburg has won, but it may be one of the most thrilling.
Well, they came into this tournament with seven men, and Eagle Grove came in with 10. So they really had to work for it to get there.
That was a nice way to finish at heavyweight. Now let's go over to the 1A because that's still going. We've seen the 3A, the 2A, both ended in pins. Single A is Brian Dahl of Manly North Central in the blue with the white band around the middle against Myron Kepi of Durant. Well, that's actually the Durant in the light uniform, and Brian Dahl in the dark blue.
No, Durant, man, is on top in the dark, in the navy blue with the gold trim.
I was right the first time.
Yeah, you were.
They begin to look alike to me after a while. 3 mats, a lot of activity. Every mat has 2 crowds.
Kepi up right now, 10-1. He's really got the match under control. He came into this finals, though, on a semifinal bout, in which he was down by 5 points early in the match and worked his way all the way back to win by 5.
Now there you see the referee, Dick Colson, bringing them back out. We still have a minute left to go here in the 1A heavyweight match. Now you see that Dahl is wearing a standard headgear. Kepi is wearing one that you don't see much.
I've never seen that until today, I guess, or
As a
until
matter of
this
fact,
weekend.
it almost looks like a hockey headgear.
I saw earlier in one of the rounds, the referee's checking it to see, you know, those wrestlers can't have anything that is hard or solid that could cause injury to someone else, but it's fully padded. It's like a soft football helmet almost.
There it is. That's what we're looking at. It really does look almost like a hockey helmet.
Well, no one's going to headbutt him, that's for sure. Not with any success.
Myron Kepi of Durant. His coach is Charles Rogers. Ken Fuchs runs the Manly North Central program. 12-2 is the score.
40 seconds left. Oh, Kepi's just kind of floating on top of him here. He's got a wrist right now, pulling it out, trying to get a little hammerlock position and keeping him broken down under control. Really a no problem at all.
We're going to have the really big heavyweights next. The super heavyweights are yet to come. Those who weigh in at better than 235 pounds. That seems to have been a good move to separate the above 235s to the others. We have 2 pretty good divisions now.
Well, I don't know what the percentages really are on paper, but I'm sure it's really helped cut down on some injuries. And I think that some bad injuries from some mismatches between
There you see the standings, by the way, Randy. We'll take a short look here. Emmetsburg, with that fall, won it. The 4 points for a win tied it at 104.5, but Doyle Naig made a 2-point difference with a pin. And so it's an Emmetsburg championship. We were talking about injuries at super heavyweight and heavyweight.
Well, I think that really was the instigator of the super heavyweight program or weight classes. You could have a man as little as 175 wrestling, you know,
300, yes.
300 or plus.
And the winner, Myron Kepi of Durant. It was a big score, 12-2. And that does some good for Durant and the team score. They have clinched 3rd place. There's no doubt about it. Myron Kepi. Now here are the winners given their awards at 185. Let's start with 1A.
6th place, Joe Bodler, Greenfield. 5th place, Brian Hogue, Traer, North Tama. 4th place, Gary McBride, Logan. 3rd place, Joe Ehlers, Lorenz, Marathon. 2nd place, Craig Hasselbrook, Bondurant, Farrar. And the 1A 185-pound champion from Durant, Phil Rowe.
It's a couple of tough, big guys from Durant there, 185 and heavyweight champions, both from Durant, Iowa.
And you can bet they really do a lot of good for each other in that room.
Yeah, that's not real uncommon that you see champions or at least top quality wrestlers that are back-to-back weight classes from different schools.
Now let's see the AA winners.
Of Wapsie Valley. 6th place, Roger Baker, Creston. 5th place, Joel Williamson, Audubon. Fourth place, Jeff Bradley Lamars. Third place, Mike Borman Emmitsburg. Second place, Todd Snitker Waukon. 2A 185-pound champion from Wapsie Valley Fairbank, Raleigh Kane.
Second title for Raleigh Kane. Moved up this year to 85 from 167 last year.
Maybe got to eat a little bit more this year than last. You never know.
Well, he sure looks strong. He's a tough. The Snitker that he wrestled in the finals, by the way, outside of the matches between the two of them, was undefeated.
Class 3A awards, Coach
Here is the AAA award.
Sixth place, Brian Brazell, Cedar Rapids, Washington. Fifth place, Joe Greenlee, Waverly Shell Rock. Fourth place, Scott Leonard, West Des Moines Dowling. Third place, Fritz Stratton, Muscatine. Second place, Steve Metzger, Ames. And the 185 3A champion from Bettendorf, Brian McCracken.
185-pound repeater. Second championship in a row for Brian McCracken.
Second team title in a row, too, for Bettendorf. They have really been powerhouses.
Well, now let's go to Dick Trotter with the hero of Emmitsburg, Iowa.
All right, we're looking at Doyle Negg of Emmitsburg, Iowa, who is the new state champion at heavyweight. Doyle, you told me you weighed in at 204 before your match with John Breeze of Forest City. You pinned him tonight. How much weight did you lose in your heavyweight match?
Probably a couple of pounds for sure.
A couple of pounds in 6 minutes. I thought we'd have some action here, but this was Doyle Negg, who came back after leading 10-5 to get a big pin over John Breeze and become the state championship at heavyweight in Class 2A competition. Here you go. Why don't you talk to us about it, Doyle?
I mean, it's sort of in a bear hug situation right now, and hip tossed him there to his back and locking his arms up so he can't move.
Little lateral drop there puts him down, and you're going to get a pin right there. Goes Gene Luttrell of Waterloo, and there's a happy lad.
Yeah.
What are you thinking about?
State championship for team and myself. I had to get a major decision for us to win the team title, and I came through with the fall.
Thank you very much. This is Doyle Negg, the state champion from Emmitsburg at heavyweight. Back to you, Doug.
Boy, there's a good way to finish it up for the Emmitsburg team. They needed that, not just a win, but a big win, and they got it. Well, now we're going to super heavyweights, and we're going to be covering the match at single A here between Scott Binken of Rhinebeck, who's undefeated, and Scott McKinney of Lenox, who came into this 15-7. Robert McNeil of Cedar Rapids. Bob McNeil is the referee here.
I'm glad I didn't say anything first. I was just going to mention how Binken is a real good thrower and has thrown and pinned all of his opponents so far in the tournament, and then he just took a little airtime himself.
Up at the corner there in 2A, we have Jeff Knutson of Cresco against Larry Kerr of Washington. And then at AAA, now you see Binken throwing again. At AAA, we'll have Jim Kistner of Bettendorf and what should be a good match against Mark Sindlinger of Charles City, and we'll keep track of all these. There are a lot of pins at super heavyweight because if somebody goes on his back, it's hard to get out.
Here's that nice throw, a headlock by Binken. Rolled through and off the mat. It's like a replay of the move right before.
We saw the official put up 2 points, but I don't believe that actually happened. It was ruled to be out of bounds, 0-0 now.
McKinney with a 2-point
Well,
takedown.
he can't be because he's he's on top. The scoreboard just caught up with the situation.
Little sit out, turn back in.
Even up.
Comes around for reversal.
2-2.
I tell you don't see too many super heavyweights that are 5'7". That's how tall Binken is here. And he's undefeated, and he's pretty tough.
I don't think McKinney is much taller. In fact.
Well, let's take a look here.
Binken out front. He lost it. And it's an escape, 3-2.
You're right, McKinney's only 5'8". Both of these guys seem pretty comfortable in throw positions. They're locked up and tied up on top, and may make this match real interesting. imagine both of these fellas are in excess of 240, 250 maybe. They're pretty mobile for that size.
Northeast Iowa against South. Rhinebeck against Lennox here.
McKinney in on a single to the outside, can't get the hands locked. Binken snapping down and spinning, can't get around.
The end of this period, we're going to show you the standings in 1A and 3A. There's the 1A score. Boy, Lisbon made a runaway of that from the start. Bondurant Farrar only 4 points ahead of Durant. There you see the 3A championships. Bettendorf and Mason City clearly out in front. Clinton, West, Dowling, Fort Dodge behind. We're starting the second period, and the man in the control position, McKinney, leads 3-2, but he just went out of the control position and out of the lead. It's 4-3 now, Binken.
Binken is real explosive in there. He's doing sort of a 4-point stand-up with hand control, and McKinney reaching for a cradle and couldn't get it locked up. And McKinney does the same thing, stands up, back up on their feet. Make the score 4-4 down there. Minute 22 left in the second period.
The other match is Knutson of Crestwood leads Kerr of Washington 5-0 in the second period. And at AAA, it's 5-1 in favor of Sindlinger of Charles City over Kistner of Bettendorf. Matter of fact, it's 7-1 back points now in favor of Sindlinger of Charles City. And here it is tied up 4-4.
Well, Binken and McKinney here are having a little pushing match. Each likes to throw, and they're trying to set each other up. It's
Gentlemen, you're not doing anything. Let's go to going.
they're going to warn them here, looks like. Well, I guess just a little verbal warning.
Similar styles, obviously. Nice snapping around by Binken, and he now leads 6-4, and he is going for the fall.
Oh, it's all over right there. He's going to go right there.
It would look awfully tough to get out, and it's a pin. It is a fall for Scott Binken of Rhinebeck. He finishes an undefeated season with a state championship at the 1A division super heavyweight. There he is. Champion from Rhinebeck, Iowa, Scott Binken. He pinned his way through this meet.
He is pretty tough. That's one thing about those super heavyweights. Once they're on their back, you can pretty much count on it being over.
Well, we still have a couple of other matches going on there at the super heavyweight class, so we have possibility of seeing some more. We have a move down to the AA match here between Jeff Knutson and Larry Kerr, and the AAA match between Jim Kistner and Mark Sindlinger. And here's the AAA match. Sindlinger has piled up a big lead here. He leads 9-1 over Kistner of Bettendorf.
Sindlinger is a returning state champ, too.
He's on top. We have just a few seconds left in the second period. And Sindlinger's in strong control.
And still has another year of high school left. It's amazing to see a sophomore and junior of this size that can control himself that well. You know, handle himself and carry his weight. He is a big, solid character.
He's very tall. Rangy, 6'1". Well, he's not all that tall. He just looks taller than his opponent, who is listed here as even taller, 6'2". Well, he's ahead 9-1. I think he's sort of standing a little taller than his opponent at the moment.
Caution on top for getting into starting position before the referee's signal. Bottom man has to be set before the top man gets on.
That's what the coaches around the country are looking for, too, isn't it? A super heavyweight who isn't going to end up playing football somewhere.
There's not very many of them around. Yeah, they get scooped up. Not very many of them can, in a top-notch competition, handle both a football and a wrestling season and still expect to be a student. Well, Sindlinger steps in, gets hip control, hip tosses him over, Has him in trouble for fall points. Not enough to put him away.
2-point near fall. That makes it 13-4. A minute 15 to go in the match. It's a shutout over at the AA mat between Knutson and Kerr. It's Knutson of Crestwood, 8-0.
Sindlicher's just kind of floating on top there now, kind of waiting for an opening, see if he can put him away. He's not real concerned about being up too high. He's floating over there. He's got a cradle hooked up, pulls him over the top.
He might be able to end it. Nope.
That's just what he's waiting for. He doesn't have to force things now. He can just wait for the opening and take advantage of a mistake.
15-4. Get in that tough bar arm and
wait around in there all night.
Yep. He's just staying out front.
He lets him come up there. He's not too concerned about it. Kistner in on a single leg drop. Sindlicher reversed for 2.
15-6. Not worried. You can see he had that hand in the air. It's a repeat champion at super heavyweight in the AAA. Mark Sindlicher of Charles City. He's defeated Jim Kistner of Bettendorf. Team champion Bettendorf. 15-6.
No pressure on him in this match. It's all put away. That's one advantage for Kistner.
Well, now we have a lot of awards coming up here because we finished the actual wrestling. We're going to see the awards, first of all, at heavyweight 1A.
6th place, Marshall Coleman, Dallas Center. 5th place, Dan Blackburn, Tabor Fremont Mills. 4th place, Randy Sanderson, Tripola. 3rd place, Wade Brandt, Ackley, Geneva. 2nd place, Brian Dahl, Manly North Central. And the 1A heavyweight champion from Durant, Myron Kepi.
Second champion for Durant, third champion
Super
for
heavyweight
Durant
place
tonight.
winners, please report to the award stand. Super heavyweight.
Durant winning titles at 112, 185, and heavyweight. Excellent showing in the tournament.
And they got a good solid 3rd behind Bondurant.
Presenting the Class 2A heavyweight awards, Coach Clint Young of Emmetsburg. 6th place, Scott Jorgensen, Audubon. 5th place, Scott Miller, Wapsie Valley, Fairbank. 4th place, Mike Thomas, Centerville. 3rd place, Perry Loris, New Hampton. 2nd place, John Vries, Forest City. And the 2A heavyweight champion from Emmetsburg, Doyle Naig.
Who, as you know, is the youngster who won the championship for his team with a pin. Standing tall on that top rung. Those are the heavyweight award winners in the A and the AA divisions. And next we have the winners going up on the platform from the AAA heavyweight class.
Presenting the Class 3A heavyweight awards, Coach Jerry Ray of Mason City. 6th place, Darren Dreyer, Owine. 5th place, Jeff Bakiris, Bettendorf. 4th place, David Crease, Waterloo West. 3rd place, Jeff Mounts, Sioux City North. 2nd place, Todd Ensminger, Burlington. And the 3A heavyweight champion from Mason City, Todd Krieger.
Todd Krieger of Mason City. 2 Kriegers won state championships tonight.
3 titles in all for those Mason City Mohawks.
Well, we're going to go directly to the super heavyweight awards now. The ones you just saw finished up. The weights just finished up. And we'll begin with Class A.
To have everyone clear the mats on mats 1, 2, and 3 for the award ceremonies. Please clear the mats.
We're going to have the team championship awards here very shortly. Super heavyweight 1A.
Presenting the Class 1A Super Heavyweight Awards, Coach Darrell Wormhold of Rhinebeck. 6th place, Charles Sloan, Pekin Packwood. 5th place, Doug Embry, Twin Cedars Bussey. 4th place, Scott Silberstein, Winthrop East Buchanan. 3rd place, Tim Hendrickson, Hamburg. 2nd place, Scott McKinley, Lenox. And the super heavy 1A champion from Rhinebeck, Scott Beankin.
Well, there's hardly room on those steps for all those fellas. They're big.
Well, he waited a while. He was 3rd as a sophomore and 2nd as a junior. He had one place to go.
And there it is, top step. That's the Emmetsburg team. Looking forward to getting the big trophy in AA. Next, we're going to have the presentation of the awards for the super heavyweight division in Class 2A.
2A awards, Coach Jim Sovereign of Cresco of Crestwood. 6th place, Rick Keel Makokada. 5th place, Jeff Webb Osceola Clark. 4th place, Todd Kesterson, Tiffin Clear Creek. 3rd place, Scott Brandt, Clear Lake. 2nd place, Larry Kerr, Washington. And the 2A super heavyweight champion from Cresco Crestwood, Jeff Knudsen.
There he is.
That's definitely the king of the mountain right there. There's a lot of men up on the top of those steps.
And we have yet to see the AAA winners here. And then we'll be getting a floor report from Dean Borg before we have the team championships awarded.
Presenting the Class 3A awards, Coach Jim Miller of Charles City. 6th place, Darren Storm Spencer. 5th place, Greg Ambrosy, Dubuque Senior. 4th place, Andy Logo, Muscatine. 3rd place, Joe Hill, Cedar Rapids, Jefferson. 2nd place, Jim Kisner, Bettendorf. And the 3A super heavyweight champion from Charles City, Mark Sindlinger.
The 2-time champion from Charles City, Iowa at super heavyweight, Mark Sindlinger. Now let's get a floor report from Dean Borg.
Well, Doug, a moment ago you saw Jeff Knudsen of Crestwood of Cresco have that gold medallion draped around his neck. You may wonder, how did he come to win it? Well, in the first period, he had a takedown and 3 back points, nearly put away Larry Kerr of Washington in that first period. He went on to escape in the second period and scored a takedown there for 3 more points. He'd had 5 in the first period, 3 in the second period. It was scoreless in the last period then, and he went on with an 8-0 decision over Larry Kerr of Washington. So the champion at super heavyweight AA is Jeff Knudsen, Crestwood of Cresco. Doug?
Well, now we're going to Mo Kelly again for tonight's team trophy presentations.
The trophy awards, and they'll be presented by members of the IHSAA Board of Control. We'll begin with Class 1A. Members of the Board of Control to make these presentations. On my near left is Dr. Ted Runyon, Superintendent of Schools at Britt. In the middle is Ken Sand, Southeast Polk, Superintendent of Schools. And at the far left is Jim Mitchell, representing the Department of Public Instruction of Des Moines. In Class 1A, the 3rd place team with 77 points, if they'd come forward, please, Coach Charles Rogers and Durant.
Three of them wrestled tonight. They had 3 champions. How about it?
One to come from behind in the last seconds, escaping a takedown.
In second place, Class 1A with 81 points, Coach Ken Estling and Bondurant Farrar.
The boys in blue, they had a solid second place after the consolations and held on through the championship.
And our Class 1A champion, 124.5 points, Coach Brad Smith and Lisbon.
This is scarcely a new crowd here. Lisbon has been a perennial contender and an oftentimes champion.
I wonder if it had made any difference.
Turning
in
now to Class 2A and to present these awards, members of the Board of Control of the IHSAA. To my near left is Jack Honchell, Superintendent of Schools at Centerville. Next to him is John Gannon, Superintendent of Schools at Emmitsburg. Larry Rowetter of Denison, Superintendent of Schools. And to the far left is Keith O'Connell, Superintendent of Jackson Junction, Turkey Valley. In Class 2A, the third place team, 77.5 points, Coach Tim Johnson and Mount Vernon.
And the Randalls.
The Randalls both won championships tonight. Greg, for
the
the fourth
runner-up team in Class 2A, 104.5 points, Coach Marv Ryland and Eagle Grove.
Well, Dave Hardy, who helps run this tournament, told us earlier in the year he thought Eagle Grove was going to be up here. Dave used to coach at Eagle Grove, and he was right.
It was
and our Class 2A champions, 106.5, Coach Clint Young and Emmitsburg.
Now this is almost a new Emmitsburg tradition. Some of the youngsters who brought them those championships earlier when Jeff Kerber was there, Kaufman,
and
are gone.
Finally, in Class 3A, and to present these awards, three members of our Board of Control. To my near left is Jackie Parkin of Fairfield, representing the Iowa Association of School Boards. In the middle is Larry Parr, principal of Ankeny High. To my far left is Harold Sweet, the athletic coordinator of the Dubuque Community Schools. Third place in Class 3A, 95.5 points, Coach Bob Luters and Clinton.
Here are the River Kings.
With 4 finalists taking third place in a tournament.
Second place, 129.5, Coach Jerry Ray and Mason City.
Well, Mason City came out of a really strong set of contenders in northern Iowa this year. Mason City, West Waterloo, and Fort Dodge, and all of them placed in the top 6 in the state.
Class 3A champions, 166.5, Coach Frank Freeman and Bettendorf.
Well, as you pointed out, Randy, this is a team that was tough from top to bottom.
You know, you see a lot of teams that are tough dual meet teams that have better than average kids at every weight, but these guys had title contenders coming out of their ears.
Could we ask all of you team champions to go to your respective mats, and also all of the individual champions go to your respective mats immediately, please, for pictures. All team champions and all individual champions, please report to your respective mats immediately.
Well, it's picture-taking time here, and it's time for us to tell you that the 62nd Annual State High School Wrestling Championships are now history. Randy, we've had some really strong contenders here. I think there are some big college prospects. I know you as a college coach think so.
Well, I'm glad I had a front row seat to see that. This has been nothing less than spectacular, as it is every year, and I'm telling you, there's some competition out here tonight that was super college potential.
Well, and we also want to say we had the 4-time champion and Greg Randall of Mount Vernon. It's always a thrill to see that. We want to thank also Dick Trotter and Dean Borg, who do such a splendid job every year as our floor reporters, keeping track of what's going on the mats that you don't see in the principal spot. And also thanks to everybody who I work with here on these IPBN wrestling meets for a terribly complicated job of keeping these 3 mats straight and all the pictures in front of you. And I, as just the talker, and I know you feel the same way too, Randy, appreciate very much what they have to go through. Well, once again, the team champions are 1A Lisbon, 2A Emmetsburg, and 3A Bettendorf. Don't forget, we have more wrestling coming up this Wednesday at 10:30 p.m. as IPVN will bring you the 1982 Big 8 Wrestling Championships from Lincoln, Nebraska. That's Wednesday the 3rd at 10:30 p.m. Plan to watch, won't you? And now for Randy Nielsen, Dean Borg, Dick Trotter, and all the rest of us, I'm Doug Brown. Good night for IPBN Sports. Acquisition of this program was made possible through a grant from Friends of IPBN. You're viewing IPBN.